Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Marvel. Signing in Kai Daddy at the beginning. Chapter 41. Although Mephisto will not take action easily, he will control Ghost Rider to snatch it. It doesn't matter, if he dares to come, I will dismantle that frame. Wong Kai said coldly. The evil spirit must be killed by him himself. Even when Ghost Rider came, there was no need to discuss it. Seeing Wong Kai being so determined, Ancient One smiled mysteriously. Not much to say. She has seen all these things. The source of Ghost Rider's power, Zatannos, the spirit of vengeance, will not die easily. Luna bids farewell to the Ancient One. Open the portal again. The two left to find the key item, the St. Fanganza contract. Somewhere in a cemetery in New Mexico. The sky has just revealed its fish belly white color. Johnny, the Ghost Rider, was lying on the road screaming in pain as white smoke erupted from his body. Due to the sunlight, he transformed back into human form. The pain during this period was almost as much as that of the ghost girl. The flames burned flesh and blood to ashes from the inside out. This pain cannot be described in words. Finally transformed back into human form. Johnny looked around with confusion. How did I get here? He drank so much last night that he fell unconscious. Why did he drive his beloved motorcycle from the city to this cemetery in the suburbs? You're awake. An old voice suddenly sounded from behind. Johnny looked back. It turned out to be an elderly cowboy with gray hair and beard. Look at the nameplate on his clothes and the shovel in his hand. I knew he was the administrator here. Yes. Yes, what happened to me? The old cowboy sighed. Looking at Johnny, he shook his head and said, You were deceived by a devil. He also had his memory deleted, and now he has become his tool. It's so pitiful and pathetic. This old cowboy is the Ghost Rider of the previous generation. After obtaining the St. Fanganza contract, I realized that this thing was too powerful. Therefore the agreement to deliver it to Mephisto was not fulfilled. And Mephisto couldn't snatch it himself because of the interference of the Ancient One. That's why the old cowboy was allowed to hide for decades. I've already burned that thing, why don't you believe it? The old cowboy looked into Johnny's eyes and whispered. In fact, he was talking to Mephisto through the air. Burn it. Can an evil spirit contract be burned by ordinary fire? A cold voice came from not far away. Wong Kai and Luna walked out of the tombs hand in hand. The old cowboy's face changed. But very strange. There is nothing evil about these two handsome men and beautiful women. How do you know about the contract of St. Fanganza? Ding, it has been detected that the host is located at the hidden sign in location, Street Fanganza contract storage area, and the sign-in process has begun. The countdown to sign in is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. The system sounds. Wong Kai looked calm and stretched out his right hand. Hand over the St. Fanganza contract. What do you want that for? The old cowboy asked cautiously. You don't have to know. Wong Kai looked at the shovel in the old cowboy's hand. The blue sword light flashed past. The wooden handle of the shovel was chipped off in an instant. Johnny and the old cowboy were both shocked. This speed is too fast. They only saw the blue afterimage flash by. The wooden handle was cut directly. What are you doing? Do you want to rob? Johnny, who had a sense of justice in his heart, immediately stood in front of the old cowboy. Wong Kai frowned when he saw this. Not because Johnny is in the way. But the contract of St. Fanganza hidden in the wooden handle in the memory is not there at all. It was a solid wooden handle. I really burned that thing, why don't you believe it? The old cowboy threw away the shovel in his hand and said sincerely. Luna also showed a puzzled expression. Pulled Wong Kai's sleeve. This old man doesn't seem to be lying. Impossible, how could the evil spirit contract be destroyed so easily? Wong Kai didn't believe it at all. This bad old man is very bad. He dared to play tricks on the King of Hell first, and now he dares to play tricks on us. It must be hidden somewhere. Wong Kai walked towards the inside of the cemetery without saying a word. The old cowboy followed immediately. Seeing this, Johnny had no choice but to get on his motorcycle and follow him. A group of people came to the place where the old cowboy stored his tools. Once the result is opened, inside are all kinds of shovels. Flat shovel, round shovel, pointed shovel, square shovel. A dazzling array of colors. File size is also different. Wong Kai's face turned dark when he saw it. Did the previous generation of Ghost Riders like to collect these things? Ha ha ha, I don't know what you are talking about. In fact, these have been replaced over the past few decades. I don't want to throw them away, so I just put them here. The old cowboy said haha. Wong Kai was too lazy to go in and search one by one. At this moment, a black cloud suddenly appeared on the horizon. Cover up the dawning sky again. For a moment it seemed like they were back at night again. The road not far away suddenly became as dark as ink. The inner witch demon slowly emerged from the darkness. Wong Kai sneered when he saw this. Since the prey comes to the door on its own, then there is no need for bait. Hand over Saint Fanganza contract Carter Shirey. The witch heart demon directly called out the old cowboy's name. But the old cowboy still said the same thing. If it's burned, it's burned. If you don't believe it, there's nothing he can do. Are you ready to die? Little B. Wong Kai shouted to the inner demon. The solemn golden holy light armor instantly possessed him. Huge amounts of cyan magic blade shines with a faint red light. Wong Kai held the magic blade and slowly walked towards the witch heart demon. Luna cheered and shouted from behind. The magic blade scraped out little sparks on the ground. The sound of tingling goes straight into my mind. Like death playing the music of approach. When the witch heart demon saw this, he smiled coldly. He looked like this last time he saw it. Just to scare people. It can't hurt him at all. Johnny and the old cowboy both looked at the Guardian of Dawn with their mouths open. Thinking of the much anticipated prequel Angel Arrives less than half a month ago. I didn't expect to see it like this today. You didn't change to that blue armored giant, then you can't blame me if you want to die. The evil spirit laughs evilly. Dark fog rises from behind. Transformed into a huge skull face. Open your mouth big enough to swallow a house. Running towards Wong Kai. Extremely fast, the tombstones on the path were smashed into pieces. Even the tombstones on both sides were lifted up by the strong air current. The sound is deafening, and the momentum is even more devastating. Fancy. Facing the attack of the witch heart demon, Wong Kai only had the word indifference in his eyes. He took out the endless war blade in his left hand. Lifting the cyan magic blade with his right hand. The red light shines brightly on the blade. Sprint, Rage, and Wind Spirit emblem 3 times in one click. Wong Kai stepped on the ground and it exploded. The figure instantly transformed into a cyan lightning and passed through the maniacally laughing evil spirit. The laughter stopped suddenly. The demon inside the witch seems to be immobilized. His face was still full of wild laughter. But the next second, a cross bloodline appeared on his forehead. The skull-faced black mist behind him has been divided into 4 pieces. The warm rays of the sun suddenly shine down. The dark clouds seem to be torn apart by someone. The sunlight penetrates through it. Reveal the golden cross light. The witch heart demon slowly fell down, with that smiling face until his death, and then turned into ashes and flew away with the wind. Under the warm cross sunshine, the solemn angel armor slowly closed its sword. Touching the magic armor on the faceplate with one hand, it immediately turned into golden light and blended into the body. Luna immediately stepped forward and gave Wong Kai a bear hug. Brother Kai is the best. Of course, Wong Kai hugged Luna and spun around a few times. The eyes of 2 generations of Ghost Riders were about to stare down. Is he Angel? The old cowboy murmured to himself, as if asking Johnny, but also asking himself. I don't know, but this cloud layer can really be called a miracle. Johnny looked at the cross-like sunlight dissipating very quickly. I hurriedly took out my phone and wanted to take a photo. But when he touched his pocket, he found only burnt ashes. Waterfack. The old cowboy turned around and knew what was going on. Although Hellfire can enchant various objects to enhance their power, but it does not include mobile phones. Killed the witch demon. There is no need to take away the bait of Saint Fanganza contract. But since this thing is a scourge, of course it is best to destroy it. Now you can finally hand over the evil spirit contract to me. Wong Kai and Luna walked forward and asked. The old cowboy sighed deeply. Although I don't know who you are, Mephisto wouldn't lie to me like this. The contract can be given to you. The flames of hell emerged from the old cowboy's body with a roar. It only took him an instant to transform into a skeleton. Johnny was immediately frightened and collapsed on the ground. Looking at the very familiar Ghost Rider, he was speechless for a long time. This is my last transformation. I thought I would die of old age with this thing. The old cowboy grabbed his left arm with his right hand. Just pull it. Then he took off the left arm bone. Wong Kai understood instantly. This bad old man hid the contract in his bones. This move is really cruel. It would be difficult to think of this even if I killed him. I did burn this thing, but unfortunately I couldn't. The old cowboy threw the Saint Fanganza contract rolled into a paper tube directly to Wong Kai. Then he attached the left arm himself. Luna looked a little scared and felt very novel. Hellfire can't do anything with this thing. Do you have any good ideas? This is simple, Luna. Portal. A small golden portal appeared. Wong Kai hung the contract of Saint Fanganza on it. Just like laser cutting, the paper tube breaks into two pieces. When the old cowboy saw this, he looked at Wong Kai like an idiot. Are you kidding me? Use a cannon to hit mosquitoes. This thing is not strong, but it will recover automatically. The old cowboy just finished speaking. The broken paper tubes were instantly attracted together like magnets. It looks exactly the same as before. Quote. The atmosphere was a little awkward for a while. But Wong Kai quickly thought of another way. You all step aside. Master Zhang Kuikui appears again. Wong Kai directly used reincarnation swallowing to swallow the contract. But this thing seems to have automatic navigation. Within a few seconds, suddenly it appeared in Wong Kai's hands again. The old cowboy shook his head repeatedly. I feel like I've been entrusted to the wrong guy. But Johnny was still in shock. Looking at the indestructible evil spirit contract, Wong Kai suddenly had an idea. Can you recite the incantation above to summon all these evil spirits? Of course, but releasing those 1,000 evil souls will cause endless troubles. What do you want to do? It's very simple, just kill all these evil spirits. If you can't solve the problems, then solve the evil spirits that cause them. In this way, the Saint Fanganza contract would have no meaning. The old cowboy didn't throw cold water on him at this time. Rather, carefully consider the possibilities for implementation. Wong Kai's strength is obvious to all. Maybe you can actually give it a try. Do you have any concrete plans? The old cowboy asked. Wong Kai smiled slightly and pointed at Luna's confidence. Of course. Half an hour later, the former site of the village of St. Vincent. Luna uses the form of icon to create hundreds of duplications. Surround this place tightly. No corner is spared in the air or on the ground. And Wong Kai became Zhang Kui again, lying directly on the ground. Are you sure this is okay? That's 1,000 evil spirits. The old cowboy asked seriously. Wong Kai gave a thumbs up and said there is absolutely no problem. Then he continued. You should take care of yourself and him. The King of Hell will not watch us deal with these evil spirits. I will be gone as soon as I lose my age. As for him, haven't you already tied him up? The old cowboy looked at Johnny, who was trapped by the magic whip, and shrugged. There is nothing we can do about it. Mephisto may let Johnny transform into the Ghost Rider at any time to cause trouble. They couldn't feel at ease unless he was tied up. In that case, let's get started. The old cowboy nodded. Take out the Pact of Saint Fanganza and open it. Along with the obscure spells, ghostly ghosts began to appear all around. And let out a shrill howl. The sky became even more gloomy. Even during the day it feels like night. When Johnny saw the ghost, he was so frightened that he fainted. The old cowboy looked at it and shook his head. In the name of the contract, all evil spirits will appear quickly. After reciting the incantation, the old cowboy threw away the contract and it became useless paper. See the evil spirits running around and leave immediately. And Wong Kai glanced at all the lunas in the sky. Give a thumbs up signal. Then use reincarnation to swallow immediately. The terrifying suction force appears again. And it has a stronger pull on this group of evil spirits. Countless evil spirits howled like lone wolves and were sucked into the vortex. And in the sky, Luna holds up huge amounts of magic shield. One by one, they synthesize the golden shield that surrounds the entire Saint Fanganza village. While completely blocking the escape routes of evil spirits, it also contracts inward simultaneously to squeeze out the living space of evil spirits flying all over the sky. At the same time, some Luna transformed into the sword of Emperor Weishan. Just like playing baseball, Knock all those crying and screaming evil spirits into the vortex of reincarnation. But at this moment, Johnny, who was tied up with a magic whip, suddenly burst into flames. Start struggling wildly. In less than a second, the flames completely enveloped Johnny. The magic whip broke instantly. What followed was a lifetime of explosions. Boom, accompanied by the sudden sound of explosion. Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze appears again. Although he has neither chains nor shotguns. But the hellfire flowing throughout his body is the best weapon. Holding both hands high, a giant fireball the size of the front of the truck appeared above the head. Then the skeleton's arm flicked. The fireball flew quickly and hit Wong Kai, who was releasing the reincarnation devouring. Boom, flames filled the sky and fireballs exploded. But it was because of contact with huge amounts of golden shield. Luna used the Seraphim shield to easily block the explosion. At this time, there are fewer and fewer evil spirits. Don't try to hinder Brother Kai. 4 Lunas surrounded the Ghost Rider. Each person shoots out red silk cloth with one hand. Cyttorak's crimson chain immediately circled around the Ghost Rider crazily. Then suddenly tightened. Then he tied up the Ghost Rider again. Suddenly the red silk cloth burst out with strangulation power. Under the huge amounts of power, Ghost Rider's bones kept making heart-stopping sounds. And the Ghost Rider burst out with hellfire madly. But he couldn't destroy the rope that trapped him like last time. The situation became deadlocked for a while. However, there are less than 100 evil spirits left in the sky. The space for evil spirits to move was quickly squeezed. When reaching a certain 0 point, I can no longer resist the terrifying suction of the mist vortex. It was sucked in all at once. The whole process seems extremely long. But it's actually very fast. In just 3 seconds, all 1,000 evil souls were swallowed up and absorbed by reincarnation. The sky cleared quickly. The chilling sounds of ghosts crying and wolves howling also disappeared. Wong Kai stood up like a carp and quickly changed the hero template. Luna, get out of the way. The 40-meter sword reappears. The red silk wrapping Ghost Rider also disappeared in the blink of an eye. Wong Kai activated all the amplifications and slashed at the Ghost Rider's skull. Boom, huge amounts of explosions resounded through the sky. The flames shot straight into the sky dozens of meters high. The Ghost Rider was struck by a knife and exploded directly into the sky. After landing, only broken bones remained. If you dare to attack Luna, I really don't know how to write the word, death. Wong Kai looked at the burning flames indifferently. Then I just wanted to lift my feet and leave. I saw countless broken bones inexplicably burst into flames. Then they all floated slowly, like bolides running toward the flames at the explosion point. Ghost Rider is immortal. The old cowboy suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Pointing at the blazing flame, he explained. That is the spirit of vengeance. It is said to be created by God. Even Mephisto cannot kill it. Really, I don't believe it, Wong Kai said coldly. Then Shah Jiba slashed at the blazing flames. The cracks in the ground are getting wider and deeper. But nothing seems to have happened to the flame. After a while, it quickly shrank. Reintegrated into the intact skeleton. Ghost Rider appears again. Wong Kai frowned when he saw this. Raise the sword and strike again. Just then the flames retracted rapidly. The flaming skeleton turned into Johnny again. He leaned back and fell into the pit. HMPH, isn't this somewhat effective? Wong Kai took back the demon blade and cancelled the immortal demon body. Turning to look at Luna. But he found that her expression was stagnant and her whole body seemed to be frozen. And the same is true for old cowboys. The surrounding time and space seemed to stop at this moment. You can even hear your own heartbeat in silence. Ancient One Mage. Wong Kai asked warily, and at the same time, the immortal demonic body was activated immediately, with angel armor covering his whole body. Hui's experience card has also been clasped in the palm of his hand, so he can use it quickly whenever something goes wrong. You are very good, much better than my useless son. An old voice suddenly appeared from behind. Without thinking, Wong Kai turned around and struck with all his firepower. Ding! Like being struck on metal. Huge amounts of the magic blade were actually held up by an old finger. Wong Kai's pupils suddenly shrank. The shock in my heart is beyond words. This is a real injury. How could he be blocked so easily? What a sharp weapon. Curl your fingers and flick. Dang, the sound is very clear. But huge amounts of cyan magic blade kept shaking violently. Wong Kai can hardly hold it with one hand. I can only hold it tightly with both hands and thrust it into the ground. Boom! The ground instantly exploded in all directions like a spider web. A dozen large cracks 1 palm wide extend from the direction of the magic blade. And this is just the aftermath of the force of the bullet just now. Mephisto. Wong Kai raised his head coldly and looked at the white-haired old man with a very ordinary appearance. The other party's eyes are deep. It's as if it's packed into the vastness of the universe and everything in the world. Standing there, you have an aura that is unparalleled in the world. The body is like a black hole. It sucked away a lot of the light around him. The ground beneath my feet seemed to be soaked in ink. Slowly eroded and cracked. The surrounding air is already below freezing point. Every time Wong Kai takes a breath, there will be white mist visible to the naked eye. I appreciate you, Kai. Mephisto's face was dull. I glanced at Johnny, who was about to be buried in the pit. It speaks directly to the temptation of the devil. Become my son, and I will give you 10 times the power you have now, and I will give you this world as well. Wong Kai. Be patient, calm down. Wong Kai took a deep breath. The violently fluctuating emotions under forced pressure. He asked indifferently, why? I just killed your son. It's just a waste. I can make such waste again at any time. But people with potential like you are rare in the world. Mephisto looked directly at Wong Kai. It's like seeing a rare treasure. Various strange abilities, and the ability to easily kill the inner demon in an instant. Everyone tells Mephisto that this is a potential stock worth investing in. Become my son, and I can help you realize any wish. Strength, power, money, the opposite gender, anything you want, including this planet, will be yours. Mephisto's voice seems to have magic. Amplified all the desires in Wong Kai's heart. For a time, countless hallucinations arose in my mind. Extraordinary strength conquers one world after another. Become the master of several planets and galaxies. He can do whatever he wants. Do whatever you want without any scruples. Completely release the greatest evil thoughts in your heart. This time the hallucination was not interrupted. Wong Kai has completely watched all the gentleman scenes. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. After opening his eyes, he smiled at Mephisto. Can you really let me enjoy this kind of life? Yeah, of course. Mephisto also smiled back, as if he already had a chance to win. But I refuse. What? Mephisto asked in surprise. But I refuse. One of my favorite things, Wong Kai, is to say no to guys who think they have an absolute advantage and think their demands are unquestionable. Wong Kai smiled coldly, then shouted to the sky. Mage Supreme, save me. In an instant, the sky and the earth changed color, and the surrounding space changed again and again, as if falling into a kaleidoscope world. Wong Kai immediately understood that he had entered the mirror dimension. Ancient One wears yellow battle robes, slowly descending from the sky with the Eye of Agamotto. The mark of Domu on the forehead has appeared. Obviously, in order to cope with this war, she will not hesitate to draw strength from the dark space. You really withstood the temptation. Ancient One turned his back to Wong Kai and said. She was very satisfied with this. With these two people around, she can completely become a hands-off shopkeeper after retirement and find the life she wants. And Wong Kai grinned. Compared to being a son, I prefer to be someone else's father. Didn't he withstand the temptation? But this level of temptation is too low. He can achieve that level of strength without Mephisto's help. It will even be stronger. And it feels like being there in the environment. He only escaped from the illusion after being a gentleman and everything became boring. Satan, are we going to continue this meaningless fight? Ancient One smiled. Open your hands one after the other. The Eye of Agamotto on the chest emits green light. A green circular magic spell appeared in the palm of my hand. Wong Kai was excited when he saw this. Come on, use your big move. Do you want to see the battle scene of Ancient One with all special effects turned on? But Mephisto shook his head. No need, I know your strength very well. We're not going anywhere. After saying this slightly ambiguous sentence, Mephisto took a deep look at Wong Kai. Suddenly, a dark door appeared behind him that could not reflect any light. The door frame is made of skulls and flesh. It gives people an extremely evil feeling. And Mephisto turned around and disappeared through the black door. The King of Hell also left. He just left like this. Why do I feel like this isn't over yet? Wang Kai walked behind Ancient One and asked. This is the end of the beginning, but not the beginning of the end. Ancient One shook his head and said two philosophical words. Then he turned around and looked at Wang Kai. There are some things I can tell you, but there are some things I must not tell you, otherwise the future will be even more uncontrollable. I hope you understand. Wang Kai seemed to understand but still nodded. Just like Doctor Strange in the movie decided to take the path of a mage to protect the Earth after the death of the Ancient One. Once there is a little change in this, Doctor Strange may disappear. Maybe he was concentrating on driving and didn't have an accident. Or maybe he was stabbed to death by some gangsters on the way to Kamal Taj. Wang Kai is now taking the path of Doctor Strange in disguise. She couldn't say anything to remind her of the difficulties she would encounter next. Otherwise, the best ending will disappear. This is not what Ancient One wants to see. Leaving the mirror dimension, it still looks like time has stopped outside. Ancient One turns his hands. The green runes that were originally stationary began to rotate slowly. The time around me also seems to start to flow. Like slow playback to normal speed. Everything is back to normal. It's amazing. Ancient One Mage, why don't you use it to make Mephisto die of old age? Wang Kai turned to look at Ancient One, but found that the person had left. Luna cancelled the form of Archon and flew down from the sky. Wang Kai was very surprised when he saw the broken ground beneath his feet. It's strange. It was fine here just now, but why did it fall into pieces like this in the blink of an eye? Wang Kai glanced at it and said, I didn't want to explain too much, so I just took the topic away. Then he pointed at Johnny in the pit to the old cowboy. Teach him how to control that power. After saying that, he left with Luna. Nor did he explain his identity. And the old cowboy came to the pit and looked at Johnny lying in it. Due to professional instinct, I wanted to fill this hole with a shovel. It depends on you whether you can rely on your own will to escape the control of the King of Hell. Squatting down and patting Johnny awake, the two walked towards the road back to the cemetery. One morning a week later, Luna sends Goliath and Ghost Girl to San Francisco every day. The construction work of the Quantum Channel has officially begun. Same as in the movie. The location is in a building purchased by Dr. Pym. This building can be big or small. In an emergency, it can be used as a suitcase and can be taken away directly. Very convenient and discreet. And today, the work here begins with a scream. Ah, big. Big ant. Luna hurriedly hid behind Goliath. Looking at the ants, which are similar to large dogs, I feel like my hairs stand on end. Ferocious mouthparts, two sharp pliers beside the mouth. Body hair covered with spikes. And those 6 thick limbs. Luna thought she saw a monster from a nightmare. It's just an ant. Luna, why are you afraid of ants? Hope walked in from the door with a smile. I passed by a big ant and touched it. Of course I'm not afraid of small ones, but this one is too big. It looks like something out of a horror movie. Luna patted her chest. This caused Ava, the ghost girl next to her, to laugh. You can fly and use magic, but you are afraid of these bugs. This is really rare. Humph, that's because you don't have childhood shadows. If you had experienced it when you were young, you must have been the same as me. Luna pouted and said, looking at the big ant still makes me feel chilly in my heart. Hope smiled slightly. Point to the big ant and explain. These ants are our workers. My father and I give them instructions through the controllers in our ears. This is quite fun. Maybe you can try it. Just when Hope was about to show the controller to Luna, Dr. Pym walked in vigorously. Quickly arranged tasks for several people. Hope could only give Luna an apologetic look. Okay, let's start working quickly. Little girl, please get out of here and don't cause trouble and reduce their work efficiency. Dr. Pym is direct and thorny in his words. Luna could only make a face when she saw this. Sticking out his tongue at Dr. Pym. Just as Luna opened the portal, a strange 6th person's voice suddenly sounded in the laboratory. What an interesting experimental result. Mephisto suddenly appeared. Looking at the big ants with great interest, he stretched out his finger to emit a black light wave. The big black ant instantly became even bigger. And ferocious bone spurs began to protrude all over the body. Like a hellish beast, he actually opened his mouth and let out a terrifying howl. Roar. Let's go out and play. Mephisto waved his hand and the ant beast disappeared from the spot. I don't know where it was transported. The 5 people looked at all this and were extremely shocked. None of them had seen Mephisto. Naturally, he didn't recognize the person in front of him. Who are you? Goliath walked up to everyone first and looked wary. And Mephisto turned around and looked at the 5 people. Then he focused his attention on Luna. Come with me. As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out his hand and emitted 5 black light waves. Several people were instantly restrained and unable to move. If you want to find her, let Kai go to hell to find me. Mephisto stepped forward and grabbed Luna's arm, but suddenly he was ejected by an inexplicable force. An illusory golden rune cube suddenly appeared on Luna's body. Keep changing file size. Protected her. A protective spell was actually placed. Mephisto looked at the changing golden cube with slight surprise. At the same time, his eyes were focused. The eyeballs immediately became as black as ink. Hold both hands at the same time and pull in opposite directions. Bang bang bang. The golden cube on Luna suddenly shone with golden sparks. Started to tremble in place, like resisting some force. And the wall behind her and the floor beneath her. In an instant, it was torn apart like a rag. Like a huge wound. And continues to expand outward. In the blink of an eye the entire building was split into 2. Divided into V shapes like open scissors. Like an extremely hideous and terrifying wound. All the lights in the building were instantly extinguished. Only the flashing red warning light comes on. Under the dim red light, everyone faintly saw the looming true form of Mephisto. It has curved horns like a crown on its head. There is still a blazing flame burning on it. A strong and tall hell demon with red skin all over his body. Dr. Pym and others looked at all this and were so shocked that their eyes nearly popped out. As expected of you, Supreme Mage. Mephisto smiled slightly. It seems that there is not much surprise about this result. Although I can't take her away, I have plenty of ways to make Kai willingly be my son. As he spoke, Mephisto clasped his hands on his chest. A trace of black energy condensed in the palm of my hand. Gradually transformed into an animal like a wolf. It is the original demon inside Luna, the beast. Mephisto looked at the beast and smiled without saying a word. The fingers of both hands moved slightly. The black mist-like beast began to slowly transform. Almost in a breath, it turned into a human-shaped shadow. This phantom has a straight chest, horns on its head, bat-like wings on its back, and a long tail with heart-shaped spikes at the end. Mephisto smiled strangely when he saw this. The shadow in his hand immediately dissipated. Luna immediately felt extremely painful. It feels like there is hot magma in the body. When her insides were in turmoil, constantly rushing left and right. Within seconds she passed out. Since I can't take her away, then I'll take you away. Mephisto waved to Hope and Ghost Girl and immediately floated towards him. No matter how much they struggle, unable to speak a word or break free from magic. In the blink of an eye the door to hell opens. The 2 fathers just watched their daughters disappear before their eyes. The magic that bound them disappeared when the king of hell left. Goliath and Dr. Pym were extremely angry for a moment. I watched my daughter being kidnapped with my own eyes. They wanted to tear Mephisto apart with their hands. Call Kai over here. This matter must have something to do with him. 1 minute later, Wong Kai teleported outside the torn building and watched all this with piercing eyes. This matter is indeed not over yet. Dr. Pym, Goliath and the unconscious Luna were already waiting for him outside. I saw Dr. Pym press the remote control in his hand. The building shrank instantly, but it didn't turn back into a small suitcase. Instead, it shrank directly into a pile of construction debris. After handling the accident scene, the provincial police came to the door. Dr. Pym blew his beard and stared. He stepped forward and grabbed Wong Kai by the collar and asked, "Who is that guy?" "It's all because of you that my daughter was taken away by him." Upon seeing this, Goliath immediately stepped forward and pulled Dr. Pym away. He is much more rational than the grumpy Dr. Pym. He knew that if he wanted to save people, he would definitely have to rely on Wong Kai. "That's Mephisto, Lord of Hell," Wong Kai replied coldly. "You can tell with your toes that this is Mephisto's exclusive skill for villains. Kidnapping your girlfriend or someone related to you. Forcing you to go and meet him. I thought that a demon king with such a high level of skill as Mephisto would disdain to use it. Unexpectedly, within a few days, he would kill a carbine. Hell, Dr. Pym and Goliath both have questions in their minds. Wong Kai had to briefly introduce Hell and Mephisto, the devil. After hearing this, the two people's eyes widened and they could not react for a long time. So Hope and Ava were both captured and sent to Hell. Doesn't this sentence them to death? The traditional Western concept is that going to Hell is the same as going to the underworld. In this case, it is definitely not possible to come back alive. The two old fathers found it difficult to accept such a thing for a while. He stood there dumbfounded. No, if we can rescue them quickly, it's not too late. Wong Kai said in a deep voice. No matter what the reason was, he had to save people. And Hell is just another dimension after all. Although it is not suitable for human survival there. But it should be fine for a short period of time. What's more, they are next to Mephisto. The king of Hell would not even have this means of protection. I will rescue Hope and Ava, I promise you. To calm down the emotions of the two people. Wong Kai then stepped forward to check on Luna's condition. Do not know why. Looking at her now, I always have an inexplicable feeling. Ask the two people what happened. Wong Kai immediately realized that Luna must have been tricked by Mephisto. I took out my mobile phone and immediately called Ancient One. Taj is not a virgin forest, there is internet and communication. After a moment, a portal appeared next to him. Wong Kai picked up Luna and turned to Dr. Pym and Goliath and said. You go and make Pym particles immediately. Make as many Pym particles as you can. I will be of great use in saving people. Then he walked straight into the portal. The two old fathers looked at each other. He immediately set off to make it. The deal is done, they can only believe that Wong Kai can go deep into Hell to rescue their daughter. Taj. Ancient One wakes up unconscious Luna. Instantly Wong Kai's strange feeling became more obvious. Mage Ancient One, what happened to Luna? Why do I have a very special feeling? In Wong Kai's eyes, Luna seemed to occupy his entire heart at this moment, almost seducing his mind. Ancient One raised a smile on his lips. Turn your hands. The golden cube seal in Luna's body immediately emerged. But what is suppressed inside is no longer a beast like a wolf. Rather, it was a humanoid creature that seemed to want to suck away the man's soul. Have you ever heard of a succubus? Kai, Waterfa. Wong Kai's eyes widened instantly, showing a very gentlemanly look. The Ancient One concealed the seal in the next second. Wong Kai was instantly unhappy. Ahem, is the Ancient One mage talking about that creature in Western legends? Wong Kai asked awkwardly. Yes, succubi have a natural attraction to men. If you don't have a strong will, you will easily be deceived and unable to extricate yourself. What Mephisto gives you is not only a temptation from the devil, but also a trap that you have to find him to remove yourself. After hearing what Ancient One said, Wong Kai lost his composure instantly. In other words, Luna is now equivalent to having a succubus sealed in her body. As a result, men are involuntarily attracted to her when they look at her. This is really wasted up. Why does Mephisto keep pestering me? Maybe he likes men. Wong Kai asked maliciously. Ancient One smiled and shook his head. No, I don't like men, I like you. Hiss, Wong Kai took a breath of air instantly. This is a bit scary. Fortunately, Ancient One explained it in the next second. He finally felt relieved. First of all, you are very powerful and have high potential. If you use it, you can conquer more worlds. Secondly, it's because of the problem of your soul. A person who is used to eating bland potatoes and bread suddenly sees a table full of people feasting. The temptation is too great. The Ancient One point has not been broken so far. Wong Kai understood instantly. He came through the soul. It also carries a system, so the soul is different from the people in this universe. Like a husky among the sheep. You can see at a glance that he is clear, refined and different from others. No wonder Mephisto is so obsessed with him. So his idea was to treat me like a sugar cane. You can hold it when you use it, but when you don't, it will squeeze out the soul with a few clicks, leaving only a broken body that you don't even look at. Wong Kai narrowed his eyes. This Mephisto has really made a good plan. Not only want his people, I want his soul. It would be nice if you could see his true intentions. The seal has been strengthened. Apart from showing her attraction to men, Luna will not have any abnormalities. Ancient One casts magic. The golden spell flashed in front of Luna. The originally dull eyes immediately became lively. Luna looked around with confusion. First, salute the Ancient One. Then he asked Wang Kai, Brother Kai, did you save me? Where's that evil old man? No, it was the Ancient One mage's protective magic that saved you. Wang Kai quickly recounted the incident. Luna's heart trembled after hearing this. Unexpectedly, her two sisters were taken away in her place. Tears suddenly appeared in his eyes. Brother Kai must rescue the two sisters. Don't worry, of course. I not only want to save people, but I also want to give hell a big gift. Many evil creatures in hell have one weakness. That means not being able to see the sun. Although high-level demons can overcome this weakness, but it can also make them feel uncomfortable. And Wang Kai, just to make the whole hell feel uncomfortable, he will throw an unprecedented artificial sun into hell. Let Mephisto, let all evil creatures, all bathed in the rays of the sun, have a good time sunbathing. Then it turns to ashes under the sun. Can Master Ancient One help me open the door to hell? Wang Kai asked Ancient One. Yes, but I can't leave the earth. I still need to protect this place. The implication is that you can't help in the fight. Wang Kai had anticipated this. After all, the duty of the Supreme Mage is to protect the earth and not run around. And if she really helps, it is extremely easy to cause a war between the two worlds. That kind of behavior is simply too risky. Well, I understand that. Just open the door for me. Wang Kai and Luna thanked you, Ancient One. Then he left Kamal Taj and returned to New York. Building a portable artificial solar bomb is not easy. Therefore, Wang Kai invited all relevant personnel to his home. Dr. Pym, Dr. Octopus, who temporarily removed his mechanical arm, Goliath, and Iron Man Tony. Let's first introduce and understand the two main protagonists. The function of artificial sun and Pym particles. There is only one issue to discuss subsequently. That's how to turn an artificial sun device into a super bomb in the shortest possible time. Then it can be reduced to fit Wang Kai. Do you really want to do this? I study artificial suns to obtain endless energy, not to make bombs. Dr. Octopus was quite helpless. But when Tony saw this, he even added insults and sarcasm. Is it the artificial sun that the Osborne group experimented with? I heard it almost blew up an entire city block. Dr. Pym has never dealt with the Stark family. Seeing Tony, who looked like he didn't deserve a beating, only added fuel to the fire. He stepped forward and grabbed Tony by the collar, his face full of anger. Stealer of the Stark family. Are you qualified to comment on others? For a time, Dr. Pym and Tony were at odds with each other. Goliath tried to persuade him in vain. Seeing that the two of them were about to fight, Wang Kai frowned and shouted directly, "That's enough. Do you still want to save your daughter?" As soon as these words came out, only then did Dr. Pym let go of Tony's collar. But there was still anger on his face. I can make a shrinkable artificial sun without him. There is no good person in the Stark family. HMPH, if you mean my fool father, then I agree, but if you add me in, I will never agree. Tony replied unwillingly. After the two men fought with each other, they began to fight with each other. Wang Kai didn't want them to continue fighting each other. That's enough. Dr. Pym, every nonsense you say will put your daughter in more danger. Everyone calm down and think about how to make this bomb. I need him to explode in hell. Then we can form a solar deterrent, which may lead to less trouble in the future. Dr. Pym then stopped thinking. The four finally began to discuss how to make the artificial sun bomb Wang Kai needed. Since the technology is readily available, and all four of them are geniuses in various fields, Tony is even more versatile. It took less than half an hour to decide on the model, construction, and related technologies of the bomb. There is an artificial sun inside the fully enclosed cube. Initial electrical energy is provided by 6 small arc reactors, and is responsible for pushing the energy of the artificial sun to its peak. Built-in mechanical arm claw controls reaction. At the same time, the shrink function will also be installed on it. At that time, Wang Kai can take him to blow up hell. You are responsible for the production. I just want to know how powerful the artificial sun can be by enlarging this tritium element and making it Wang Kai took out the tritium element ball he got from Norman. A few geniuses made a rough estimate. The answer soon came. The larger the artificial sun is, the more powerful it will be after the explosion. If you scale up tritium to the size of a football file, expect 6 Big Ivans. The Big Ivan, also known as the Tsar Bomba, was the most powerful bomb in human history produced by the Soviet Union during the Cold War. The power is more than 3,000 times that of the 2 bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 6 Big Ivans. This is beyond description, far beyond the power of nuclear weapons made by Superman. Okay, let's make it like this. There is no need for Wang Kai to say more. The 2 old fathers, Dr. Pym and Goliath, will speed up the construction. It is expected to be completed within a few days. Then you can knock on the door of hell and send warmth. Send away 4 scientists. Wang Kai did not hesitate to draw the lottery directly. System, I want to draw a lottery, 5 draws in a row. Ding, consume 1,000 check-in points and start the lottery. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item in the system equipment column. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting a special item, thank you for your patronage for. It's gone. System, you are not mistaken. This result made Wang Kai almost vomit blood. When did he, a European god, become a non-Emirati? The system will never make mistakes. It is recommended that the host take a good look at it. The eyes can be donated if they are not needed. Isn't this a mockery of his blindness? Wang Kai's face darkened and he could only accept it helplessly. People's luck is sometimes good and sometimes bad. He didn't believe it a few days ago, but now he does. Mephisto kept pestering him. Luna was even possessed by a succubus. 2 key figures were kidnapped. The construction of the quantum channel for resurrecting parents' sustenance has stopped. What a bad luck. Brother Kai, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Luna emerges from invisibility. Seeing Wang Kai's appearance, he asked hurriedly. No, I'm fine, but you didn't blame me. Now Luna exudes an attraction to the opposite gender all the time. Tony, the old SP. Playboy. Once you see it, you probably won't even be able to walk. I definitely don't have the time to sit down and study artificial solar bombs. As for everyone else, they all have families. But Wang Kai can't bet that their will is strong enough. I had no choice but to make this decision. How could it be possible? Brother Kai has done so many things for me, and I don't even care about this little thing. Luna smiled brightly, like beautiful flowers blooming. It's so beautiful that it makes people come forward to sniff it and play with it. Wang Kai's eyelids jumped when he saw this. Is this succubus possession? It is simply a test of whether you are a gentleman every moment. Who can withstand this? Ahem, please use the mirror dimension and let me go in to test my current strength. In the mirror dimension, Wang Kai activated his immortal demonic body and came to the sky above Stark Tower again. An ordinary knife. No increase is enabled. The golden sword energy descended from the sky and penetrated directly into the building. Wang Kai felt that he was not hindered by anything. It's like cutting tofu. Cut down with a knife until the sword energy disappears. The number of broken layers is nearly 50. There are nearly 20 more floors than last time. The real damage is reflected in the building like this. Wang Kai was slightly surprised. To put it simply, it is now sharper. If you meet Hulk again, when the amplification is fully activated, he will be able to take off one of his arms. Let's look at the only item we got in the lottery just now. System equipment column. In the game, this thing is the grid where players buy equipment and place it, up to 6 pieces. But in reality, if Wang Kai draws the Endless War Blade, he must hold it in his hand. If you get the Boots of Rapidity, you have to wear them on your feet. If you have a hat, you have to wear it too. Otherwise, you won't get the bonus. But now it's better, you can get the properties of the equipment by throwing them into the equipment slot. So Wang Kai put the equipment that was inconvenient to hold in his hands or wear on his body directly into the equipment slot. Boots of Haste, Endless Glaive, and Inspiring Shield. Fake 3-piece set. Replace it with the Osborne Group building. Cut it down with one knife. The effect was immediate, and 10 more floors were cut off. System, if I change the hero template, will the equipment column disappear? No, the host just needs to remember to adjust the equipment. That would be great. Wang Kai smiled slightly. Finally, I don't have to worry about Lu Shen having enough hands, but it's not enough. I can't get the three-piece set of Endless Grandmaster Pojun. 4 days later, Dr. Pym and his team, who were almost sleepless, finally completed the artificial solar bomb. This is a giant square box with a length, width and height of more than 15 meters. In the center of each face is a small arc reactor. The whole is arranged in a tick-shaped shape. Lock the artificial sun inside firmly. 12 edges are inlaid with red Pym particle test tubes. Can be reduced to the Rubik's Cube file size at most. It feels like a science fiction toy in the palm of your hand. But it is an extremely dangerous and scary toy. If it exploded in New York, there would be no doubt that the city would be completely wiped out. There are only 3 days, and this device can only maintain the artificial sun for 3 days. Once the time exceeds, the probability of explosion at any time is more than 95%. Tony said with a serious face, although he couldn't stand Dr. Pym. But I don't want Wang Kai, the guy who saved his life 3 times and 4 times, to die. That is hell after all. This is the place where the West talks about its discoloration. Wang Kai actually wants to go there to save people now. Besides shocking Tony, just sincere admiration. 3 days, that's enough. Wang Kai grinned and continued to ask, what if I want to detonate him in advance? It's very simple, just cut it with a knife. Tony made a joke. He patted Wang Kai on the shoulder and left. Dr. Octopus also took his leave. The days of cooperating with Tony, a peerless genius, were very fruitful for him. The artificial sun that originally could only last for 30 seconds has now reached 3 days. Now he felt the permanently stable artificial sun beckoning to him. If you rescue my daughter, then I can give you the technology of Pym particles. Dr. Pym doesn't have so many sensational words. Directly lure with benefits. But being able to hand over Pym particle technology is life. It's enough to show that his daughter's importance in his heart is much higher than this technology. Okay then, it's settled. Wang Kai raised a smile on his lips. He held hands with Goliath and teleported away. Taj. The Ancient One is ready in his yellow robe. The 3 of them are currently in the mirror dimension. From here to hell, there is no need to worry about germs and viruses from another world leaking out and harming the real world. Wang Kai kissed Luna on the forehead and said goodbye. The Ancient One's forehead shows the mark of Domu. Borrow the powerful power of dark space. The portal can be forcibly opened even when the 2 worlds are not connected. Not so many bells and whistles. Ancient One chants a spell with one hand. Wang Kai seemed to hear the sound of linen tearing. I saw a horizontal black word, Feng, suddenly appeared in front of me. When the word gradually becomes thicker. Actually, wisps of black mist floated out from the font. A rotten smell immediately rushed into the nose. In the blink of an eye, a black hole appeared in front of Wang Kai. Go in, the other side is the hell dimension. When you want to come out, just shout my name. Good. Wang Kai summoned the blue magic armor to possess him. The wind blew under my feet and I stepped into the black void with one step. What I felt next was a strong suction force, pulling him deeper into darkness. Hell, a desolate, lifeless and gray land. The sky is filled with dark, low-hanging clouds. Like a dirty rag, covering everything. There are no weeds, no trees, not even a single plant here. Can't see any green, because the green color of plants represents hope. In hell, the concept of hope does not exist. In a world dominated by gray. Today, an unexpected guest suddenly arrived. Wang Kai quickly broke out of the dark clouds in the sky. Looking at this novel world view, I couldn't help but be very curious. The body has not yet landed. It has switched to the metal storm form and stayed in midair. Ding, it is detected that the host is located in the hell dimension of the hidden sign-in location, and the sign-in will begin. The countdown to check-in is 9 minutes and 59 seconds. Does this count as the coming of Jitai? Wang Kai smiled knowingly. As soon as I arrived, there was a check-in point to pick it up. And it's still 1,000 points. This is truly a turn of events. Looking around again, even if he stayed under the clouds, he couldn't see anything like a palace, village, or altar. Hell is infinitely vast. It seems that several mountain peaks can be seen in the distance. But apart from that there was no living thing to be seen. Even the souls who fell here after death cannot be seen. The Ancient One mage wouldn't just open a portal anywhere. Wang Kai thought sadly in his heart. Use it now to dominate the battlefield. I want to teleport to the ghost girl. But the skill icon is gray. I don't know if it's because of insufficient distance or other reasons. Take out that golden Sagittarius experience card. After thinking about it, let it go first. Then he took out an artificial sun device that looked like a Rubik's Cube. The brilliance of the sun instantly illuminated the surrounding area. Give Wang Kai a warm feeling. It also dispelled the hopeless gray. The sun will rise as usual. This is something everyone knows in the human world. It also represents hope. It's something you can never see in hell. This should attract some demons to ask for directions. Wang Kai seizes the artificial sun device. Glancing at the distant mountain peaks, blue plasma flames shot out from under his feet. Within a few breaths, it approaches the speed of sound. A layer of light white mist appeared behind him. With a roar that echoed through the sky, Wang Kai broke the sound barrier and continued flying towards the distance. Like a shooting star flying across the sky, it can be seen clearly even from dozens of kilometers away. 2 hours later, he came among the mountains. I unexpectedly saw signs of life activity here. It is a creature like a wolf. It's just as big as a calf's file size. The original demon beast looks almost exactly like Han and Wei. Ugly, extremely cruel. When he saw the light in the sky from a distance, he chased it from afar. When he saw the metal storm, he immediately started barking. Similar to what Ancient One said. It's a large dog like a wild dog. Wang Kai piloted the metal storm mecha and flew quickly and kicked one to death. But these beasts know nothing about fear. They all came forward to bite and attack. Wang Kai had no choice but to kick them all to death. The things Mephisto created should be very close to him. Metal Storm looked down, put away the artificial sun device. Follow the footsteps of the beast. Soon we came to the highest peak among the mountains. On the highest point of the mountain, sitting there is a gray city. In the center is a towering building like the pyramids. It should be Mephisto's palace. Unlike the gray city, the exterior of this palace is bright red. At first glance, it seems extremely evil. As you get closer, you can hear the howling of ghosts. Smell the fishy smell. There is no doubt that the red color is not a natural pigment, but a splash of blood. Found it. Wang Kai landed slowly. Change the hero template to use the immortal demon body. At this time, the skill icon that dominates the battlefield finally lights up. Hold the Hui experience card tightly in your hand. Then he disappeared. Then the transmission started. 2 layers of light white tulle twining and rotating around each other appeared beside him. I closed my eyes and subconsciously chose the ghost girl in my mind. After 2.2 seconds, the singing ends and disappears. When he opened his eyes again, he had reached a dark room. The ghost girl noticed the sudden appearance of the shield on her body. But he didn't panic and yell. The two of them were in perfect agreement, waiting for the unknown to come on the bed. Are there guards outside? A familiar voice suddenly appeared quietly in their ears. Ghost Girl and Hope were extremely excited. Unexpectedly, someone actually came to hell to save them. There is almost no one living in this temple except Mephisto himself. You can show up. Watch where they need to be guarded. Hell is the best prison. Every devil is a jailer. This temple of Mephisto is the best refuge. Once you leave here, countless low-level demons in the city can devour them all within 5 seconds, leaving nothing behind. Since Ghost Girl and Hope said so, Wang Kai cancelled his invisibility and revealed the golden solemn angel armor. He shouted directly to the ceiling above his head, Mage Ancient One. Take us back. Wait for a while and nothing happens. Wang Kai immediately frowned. Ancient One has no reason to lie to him. Then it must be the pyramids. You are actually that angel? Hope asked in shock. This was the first time she saw Wang Kai's skin. Wang Kai hummed calmly. He looked at the door, then turned around and came to the wall with the window. Gathering huge amounts of cyan magic blade, a hazy red haze appeared above. Then he slashed at the wall. Boom! The wall exploded directly. An exit larger than the cell door appeared. The 3 people quickly escaped from inside. Came to a corridor. The ghost girl looked around and immediately pointed to the right. That's the closest. No, this is the closest. In an instant, the sword light reappeared. With an explosion that resounded throughout the city. Wang Kai cut out the passage with another knife. The ghost girl and Hope hurriedly came behind Wang Kai to avoid the gravel. When the smoke is blown away by the cold wind, a gloomy light shines into the passage. The three of them can already see the city outside. I said this would be the fastest. Wang Kai smiled lightly and said, "Walk out of the gap immediately." But the next second the smile froze. Mephisto appeared before the gap at some unknown time, directly blocking the way Wang Kai and the two women left. It was as if he had been expected to come out from here. "You actually came here for these two women. Let's face it, you took the initiative to become my son and my subordinate. Or do you want me to force you to do this?" Mephisto's eyes instantly lit up like light bulbs. The majestic momentum came over like the top of Mount Tai. Wang Kai instantly crushed the golden Sagittarius Hui experience card. In an instant, Wang Kai turned into a dazzling golden light and illuminated the entire city. An aura stronger than Mephisto swept outward. Even the king of hell narrowed his eyes, feeling the soaring power in the golden light. In an instant, he slapped his hands toward the golden light. Boom! The golden light exploded instantly, like a volcano erupting. Countless gravel bricks were thrown into the sky. A strong smell of sulfur filled the scene. The earth-shaking loud noise resounded through the sky. A quarter of Mephisto's temple instantly disappeared under his slap. But at the origin of the explosion, the golden light had long since disappeared. The will of the Golden Saint is indestructible. High above the city, Wang Kai was surrounded by golden armor. The golden wings behind my back flapped slowly. He picked up Ghost Girl and Hope with both hands, one on the left and the other on the right. Looking down at Mephisto, he has no fear at all. Ancient One Mage. Wang Kai shouted to the sky. This time there was finally a response. Immediately I felt that a round hole had been opened in the thick clouds covering the entire sky. A light different from this world shines down. Even though we are thousands of miles apart, Wang Kai still relied on his current strength to raise his head and saw the familiar bald head at a glance. The face of Ancient One filled the entire round hole. Catch them. The hands and arms are slightly tilted back. Ghost Girl and Hope immediately felt that something bad was about to happen. Hey, wait, but there is no waiting. The next moment, the two of them were thrown directly into the sky by Wang Kai. The speed is like an arrow leaving the string, and it has reached the distance in the blink of an eye. And the powerful airflow that appeared during the rapid flight hit their faces all at once. It blew their faces away. The tears couldn't stop falling. At this moment, Hope's beautiful fantasy about Angel was suddenly shattered by this strong wind. The angel who saved me shouldn't have ended like this. The two of them flew towards the sky like rockets. But at this moment, a faster fiery red meteor flew from below. Mephisto reveals his true body. A ferocious red demon with blazing flames on its head. Flying towards the two of them at extremely fast speeds. "Don't even try to escape from here," Mephisto yelled angrily. Holding it empty with one hand, an extremely bright fireball appeared from the palm of the hand, dazzling like the sun on earth. Then he threw it towards the two of them. "As long as you are close enough. A momentary explosion shockwave is enough to kill. How could I let you succeed? Start sprinting." Furious, wind spirit emblem. Wang Kai waved his golden wings and set off a strong wind. The whole person turned into a golden lightning and chased the fireball. He actually took the attack with his golden armor. Die. Boom. The earth-shattering roar once again spread throughout the city below. Countless low-level and intermediate-level demons looked up, eyes full of fear. That's a battle they can't touch. A little fallout is enough to kill them. Since I can't let you be used by me, I have no choice but to eat your soul now. Mephisto arrived at the center of the explosion in the blink of an eye. Grab the golden wings and tear them off. But suddenly the golden wings disappeared. Wang Kai turned around and came behind Mephisto. His eyes are extremely cold. Holding in hand a huge amount of golden bow and arrow. In the blink of an eye, an arrow of light was already on the string. Aim at Mephisto's head and suddenly let go. Boom. The light arrow exploded instantly on Mephisto's head. There was no arrow piercing the head as I imagined. Wang Kai's face condensed when he saw this. In an instant, the second arrow of light shot out. Then came the third branch. The fourth one. The speed is getting faster and faster. Continuous arrows of light were fired from Wang Kai's hands. And every time, 3 arrows are fired. Punitive shot. The rain of arrows from the sky completely surrounded Mephisto in an instant. Not one arrow missed. All exploded on his body. Even if Mephisto uses magic to teleport away, the light arrow will still change direction and follow. Countless arrows formed a long dragon of golden light, opening his big mouth and biting Mephisto. Crash Mephisto from the sky to the ground. Then countless arrows of light poured down like rain. The sound of dense explosions instantly sounded on the ground. Smoke and dust spread all around, completely submerged Mephisto in it. Kill you while you are sick. Wong Kai fired a light arrow into the sky. Sunset. After a short delay, a golden beam of light fell from the sky instantly. Boom. It's like a space-based weapon. An explosion even louder than before sounded. The ground shook suddenly. The smoke became thicker in an instant. But Wong Kai narrowed his eyes. He could clearly feel that Mephisto had not been killed. I was just about to shoot my ultimate move, but I heard the Ancient One in the sky anxiously transmitting messages to me thousands of miles away. You're the only one left, come back quickly. The portal between the two realms is about to close. At this time, a muffled sound came from the city below. Mephisto transformed into a humanoid demon of huge amounts. He is more than 10 meters tall. The muscles all over the body bulge. The red body is extremely strong. What ignites under the scarlet cloak is a raging rage that destroys the world. Eat your soul. Mephisto rushed straight towards Wong Kai. Angry flames surrounded his body, like a burning sun rising rapidly. The sun. Wong Kai smiled coldly and ignored it at all, flying towards the portal in the clouds as fast as lightning. Seeing that there is only one step left to enter, Wong Kai turned around and threw the artificial sun device, and pressed the restore button. For a moment, there seemed to be two suns in the sky. And it continues to get closer. Countless hell creatures looked at the unfamiliar light and wanted to reach out and touch it. Especially the demons in the city of Mephisto. In response, they even walked out of the room one after another. Stand in the clearing and watch the strange light in the sky. Farewell, sun. Arrow of the burning sun. Wong Kai fired the last arrow at the artificial sun device. After loosening the bowstring, I suddenly heard a phoenix cry. A golden phoenix spreads its wings and flies out from in front of me. It turned into a golden stream of light and rushed straight towards the two suns. Wong Kai, on the other hand, flew towards the portal without looking back. Boom! The bright light that illuminates the whole hell flashes. In just an instant, all eyes that looked directly at the devil were blinded. The demons screamed miserably. The skin all over my body started to emit smoke. Then it burned directly. Just the light kills countless demons. But this is just the beginning. When the bright light dissipates, the roar was enough to spread throughout the entire hell, making a shocking sound. The shock wave forms a wall of impact gas visible to the naked eye. Crash any matter that dares to stand in its way. Even the dark clouds in the sky that never seemed to dissipate were blown away. The huge mushroom cloud slowly rises. It's like your head is holding the sky and your feet are touching the ground. On this day, all demons remembered the light of righteousness and shed it on the earth. The portal between the two realms is closed. Wong Kai did not see the explosion of the artificial sun. But just by relying on his imagination, he knew that Mephisto would also shed his skin even if he died. And the light that illuminates hell will undoubtedly be deeply imprinted in every demon's mind. Congratulations, now you are probably famous in hell. Ancient One smiled and said. Wong Kai shrugged. It was not uncommon for him to become famous in a place like this. Did Mephisto get blown up by an artificial sun? Will he come again and arrest one or two people related to me every few days? This issue is what he is most concerned about. The king of hell was brutally beaten by a boy from the human world. This news is enough to be treated as a joke by the devils in hell for a lifetime. Mephisto will not let it go when he ends up in such a disgrace. Mephisto won't die that easily, Ancient One said slowly. But you don't have to worry. If you throw the artificial sun into his face and explode it, it will be enough for him to rest for a while. After hearing this, Wong Kai finally felt at ease. Hui's experience lasted only one day. He really has no idea if Mephisto will mess with him next time. At this time, a portal suddenly opened in the mirror dimension. Luna came in with a plate of fruit. After seeing Wong Kai, he was so happy that he jumped up on the spot. As soon as the fruit was thrown away, he opened his hands and ran towards Wang Kai. Brother Kai, you are finally back. Luna stepped forward and hugged Wang Kai tightly. Wang Kai felt a little strange. Didn't I only leave for a few hours? Do I need to be so excited? How many hours? It must be more than a month. Luna pouted and said. Wang Kai suddenly opened his mouth wide. After looking at Ancient One, the Supreme Mage nodded calmly. The flow speed of time in these two spaces is different. A few hours while you are there, but a long time has passed here. Although the ghost girls and you seem to be leaving at the same time. But in fact, they waited for you for 5 days before leaving reluctantly. Embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. He can understand the different time flow rates between multi-universes. After all, there is a dark space called Damumu where there is no concept of time. It is also because of this that Doctor Strange was able to take Domu away in endless reincarnation. Ding, it is detected that the current task has expired and the host has not signed in at the birthplace of Professor Lizard. Ding, the next check-in task has been updated. Ding, the next sign-in location is Professor Lizard fighting Spider-Man on campus. If you stay for more than 3 minutes, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully. The system sounds. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows. The villain Professor Lizard from The Amazing Spider-Man 1 has actually appeared. Then he has to quickly go to New York University to sign in. That's where the battle takes place. It is also the university where Spider-Man Peter Parker was admitted. In that case, I will go back to New York first. Thank you very much, Master Ancient One, for your help. Wang Kai salutes Ancient One. Luna also followed suit and saluted. Ancient One smiled and nodded to open the portal for the two of them. The two left Kamal Taj without much politeness. The first thing I do when I get home is check the news of the past month. It turns out that except for Professor Lizard's manic appearance on the Bay Bridge. In a rage, he lifted up many cars and threw them into the sea. As a result, the two of them had a fight after being rescued by Spider-Man who came over. Professor Lizard then escaped into the sewers. Other than that, there's no big news. Tony is still fighting terrorists all over the world. Everything in the company is handed over to Xiaojiao. Hulk never showed up again. He should probably be hiding until the Avengers show up. Norman Osborn has returned to action after recovering from injury. It looks like a normal person on the screen. I haven't seen a big green fly on a flying machine in the news. Everything seems to be developing for the better. Let's go get the visa reissued first. Wang Kai secretly wanted to shut down the computer and leave the house with Luna immediately. It was already the end of September. It has been some time since universities started their semesters. Spider-Man Peter Parker also applied for a college loan as he wished. Only in this way can you continue your studies at this university. Hey Peter, when are you going to tell me where Spider-Man is? Harry next to Peter asked softly. He has held a grudge against Spider-Man ever since he saw his father almost die. It also specifically invested in the Daily Bugle. Let this media go crazy to smear Spider-Man. Naturally, the result is that Peter deeply feels the malice of the world. This is how it feels when a good person does a bad thing and will be scolded for the rest of his life. What's more, he hasn't done anything wrong. Harry, I firmly believe that Spider-Man is a good man and he would never hurt your father. Peter tried his best to explain. But suddenly he was called by name. Classmate Parker, do you have any good news to share with everyone? The university teacher looked at Peter with a straight face. As a result, the whole class turned their attention to him. Peter was embarrassed for a moment. I guess. Sudden, the spider sense issued a strong warning. Peter immediately shouted, "Everyone get down." Boom. The brick wall of the classroom exploded straight away. Countless broken bricks flew into the classroom like sharp knives. There was a burst of screams in the classroom. Professor Lizard transformed into a strong lizard man about 3 meters tall. With one tail, a big hole was opened in the wall. Let out a piercing roar to everyone. What the hell is this monster? Peter, let's hurry up. Harry was shocked and immediately backed away. Calling a good friend only to find that Peter has disappeared. I looked around twice and found nothing, so I had to run out of the window on my own. In fact, Peter jumped to the roof of the classroom the moment the wall shattered. While everyone was panicking, He crawled out of the classroom while hanging upside down and finished changing his clothes. Professor Lizard's 2 vertical pupils revealed a bloodthirsty light. After looking around, he didn't find his target. He immediately turned around and rushed towards the students still in the classroom. He wanted to vent the manic feeling in his heart. And this can only be done by seeing the blood splattering everywhere. Roar! The lizard professor opened his crocodile-like bloody mouth and pounced on a student. Seeing that this man is about to die under the sharp teeth, the bloody mouth suddenly stopped less than 10 centimeters away from him. This student was so scared that his pants were wet. Ah, if you can still move, run away quickly. Spider-Man finally appears, shooting 2 spider silks to grab Professor Lizard tightly. But this student's legs were already weak from fear. The 2 parts are fighting and the legs are shaking. Can't move a step at all. And at this time, an invisible handsome boy is watching this scene. Strange, I remember Professor Lizard didn't look like this. Wong Kai frowned as he looked at the stalemate. Professor Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man is a humanoid head. Unlike today's crocodile head or lizard head, the head is long and narrow, the mouth is full of fangs. And even though he was wearing green skin, there were no obvious lizard scales. Brother Kai, aren't we going to help? Luna grabbed Wong Kai's hand and asked. Although it has gone through darkness, it still remains pure. She is still the good girl with a kind heart. Of course I have to help. Come and rescue that student. As soon as Wong Kai finished speaking, a golden whip was thrown straight out. Wrapping around the trembling student, he pulled him away from the scene. When Spider-Man saw the student being rescued by the sudden appearance of the golden energy whip, he immediately used the force to fly out. Aiming at Professor Lizard's head, he kicked him hard in the air. Bang! Professor Lizard's huge body was kicked away by Spider-Man. Huge amounts of force instantly smashed through the classroom wall like a cannonball. Boom! A big hole was suddenly opened on the other wall of the classroom. Broken bricks flew out of the classroom and landed on the lawn outside. Professor Lizard shook his head and stood up slowly. Feel the airflow behind you change. Then the tail flicked instantly. Snapped. Only an explosion of air was heard. Spider-Man was actually hit directly by Professor Lizard's tail, being hit and thrown away like a baseball. Then there was another loud noise. Spider-Man actually smashed through the wall and fell back into the classroom. This Professor Lizard is much stronger than in The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Wong Kai murmured in his heart. The butterfly effect is getting more and more serious. I don't know how future check-ins will change. He glanced at Spider-Man, who had been beaten for a long time and couldn't get up. Wong Kai decided to take matters into his own hands. What's the point of fighting that little guy? Come and play with me. Metal Storm suddenly appeared. With a height of more than 5 meters, even the lizard professor has to look up. Wong Kai didn't wait for Professor Lizard's reaction. The mecha instantly outputs power that exceeds the speed of sound. The Metal Storm reached Professor Lizard's head in the blink of an eye. Then he punched Professor Lizard. Boom! Just heard a loud noise. There was a wooden-shaped deep pit in the lawn. The shock wave spread out and blew away the surrounding noise. The school security personnel and the students watching from a distance were stunned. Professor Lizard was punched into the ground. The whole person was unconscious. There is a deep and clear fist mark on his head. Metal Storm almost knocked Professor Lizard away with one punch. The skull is broken. One more punch and he'll be beaten to death. Too powerful King Kong. King Kong is invincible. Countless cheers to Metal Storm. Wong Kai was speechless for a while. He immediately shouted to the people around him, "It's Metal Storm." The cheers paused for a moment. Then they finally shouted Metal Storm with unified voice. Justify Metal Storm's name a little bit. Wong Kai stepped on Professor Lizard and waited for someone to take over. Ding! Congratulations to the host for signing in at Professor Lizard's campus battle against Spider-Man. The sign-in time exceeded 3 minutes and the sign-in task was successfully completed. Ding! Get 300 check-in points. Ding! The next check-in location is where Spider-Man is possessed by the alien symbiote. If you stay for more than 5 minutes, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully. Alien symbiote. It turned out to be the content of Spider-Man 3. However, although this version of the alien symbiote can copy the host's ability, but it is as if there is no consciousness, unlike Venom and Deadly Guardians, which is full of sass. At this time, A fire suddenly appeared in the distance, flying towards this side in a graceful arc. The golden red armor is particularly dazzling in the sun. It's Iron Man Tony Stark. He didn't go to fight the terrorists today. He rushed over as soon as he knew the news. Unexpectedly, he was a step too late and the limelight was gone again. The armor reached the sky above the university in a few breaths. Tony looked at the metal storm that was twice as big as him and was very understanding, so he couldn't stand it. Instead, he asked directly, "Is this a mutated creature in the sewer?" Wong Kai shook his head. Just a fool who thinks he is invincible when he is no longer a human being. Notify S.H.I.E.L.D. Don't worry, their noses are more sensitive than dogs. Tony hasn't finished speaking yet. A large group of men in black came into the school. The team was led by an old acquaintance, Coulson. After hearing Tony's words, his face darkened. But it's hard to say anything. We had to arrange for an agent to seal off the scene. We meet again. Coulson tried his best to smile. Make the two of them feel like old friends. Thank you for defeating this monster and saving countless students. Also, do you and your sister want to go to college here? S.H.I.E.L.D. can help. Going to college. Wong Kai's heart moved. He himself doesn't even feel anything about it. But Luna can consider it. I don't think I need S.H.I.E.L.D.'s help. Directly and coldly persuade him to quit. Wong Kai took Luna and flew into the sky. It soon disappeared from people's sight. At this time, Spider-Man had just finished changing his clothes and ran out with a camera. When he looked up, he could only see the tail of the metal storm. This photo was really difficult to take. Peter could only smile bitterly when he saw this. This is the third time, and the other party seems to have completely forgotten next time. It seems that S.H.I.E.L.D. is missing a strong foreign aid. Tony said sarcastically when he saw this. Then he drove the armor and left directly. Coulson looked at Professor Lizard, who was still unconscious at the bottom of the pit, and sighed repeatedly. They are indeed missing a strong foreign aid. But it's not like no one can make up for it. Coulson immediately walked up to Peter Parker, who was holding the camera. Mr. Parker, I think we can talk. You have known my identity for a long time. Peter looked at Coulson, who was smiling and couldn't believe it. He has never shown any flaws. However, Coulson exposed his identity in one word. Actually, we've known your identity since you took the picture of Spider-Man. After all, the person most accessible to Spider-Man is himself. Many people must have thought about this issue, but they don't want to believe that such a poor person can be a good neighbor to New Yorkers. Coulson smiled slightly, chatted a few more words with Spider-Man. After introducing the mission of S.H.I.E.L.D., he directly stated what he meant. We would like to invite righteous people like you to join S.H.I.E.L.D. and become an external consultant. You can continue to study in college and only perform tasks when there are tasks. After finishing speaking, Spider-Man immediately hesitated. He is already busy enough with studying and fighting criminals. Life is already a mess. Even the goddess Mary Jane, whom he finally got along with, now ignores him. Let alone go out to perform tasks. Peter just wanted to refuse. As a result, Coulson came up with his trump card. If you become a S.H.I.E.L.D. consultant, you will receive a monthly salary of 100,000 United States dollars. Spider-Man, QAQ. I'm joining. If you want to ask what Peter Parker in the old Spider-Man trilogy lacks the most, that is undoubtedly money. Because he lacks money, he is not confident. Because of lack of money, he could not pursue the goddess in his heart. Because he was short of money, he went to fight in the underground ring. As a result, he let the gangsters go and accidentally killed Uncle Ben. With money earned through legitimate means, only Spider-Man can live easier. It's not like you have to work, save people, and go to school at the same time. Make a mess of your life. Then on behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D., I welcome you to join us, Mr. Parker. Coulson stood up, smiled and held out his hand. Isn't this another powerful foreign aid? Wong Kai sighed. At this time, I was discussing with Luna whether to go to college. To be honest, Luna's attributes of attracting the opposite gender are really not suitable for going to public places. But always being alone with him like this. When you go out, you have to go out of your way to stay invisible. As time went by, Wong Kai always felt guilty. If I go to school, I hope to go with Brother Kai. Okay, I'll ask someone to go through the formalities right away. So with a drizzle of donations from Norman Osborn, Wong Kai and Luna successfully entered New York University. Became a classmate of Spider-Man Peter Parker. When the two walked into the campus holding hands, immediately, countless teenagers looked at Luna like Brother Pig. My mouth is almost drooling. Wong Kai was shocked when he saw this. I can only hope that I will adapt soon, or that Luna will kill the demon sealed in her body soon. Not even 10 steps away. Immediately a group of tall teenagers ran over. You can tell by looking at the footballs they are holding that they are all athletes from the school team. They are elites selected from various high schools as talented students. I will represent the university in the league in the future. All of them are over 185 centimeters tall. A bit taller than Wong Kai. Hey beauty, are you interested in having a drink with us? A blonde young man among all the athletes came up to chat with him and said, yes, as long as you can defeat him. Luna laughed playfully. He pushed Wong Kai directly out in front of him. Okay, it's a deal. The blonde young man eagerly agreed. Immediately afterwards, his attitude toward Wong Kai took a 180-degree turn. Boy, you'd better admit defeat. In addition to being the captain of the school's rugby team, I'm also an amateur boxer with 5th-level judo and 7th-level karate. Without waiting for the person to finish announcing the name of the dish, Wong Kai shook his head and walked up to him and put his palm on his chest. Then a gentle push. Phew, this person instantly flew 10 meters away. It's like being hit by a car. After landing, he rolled several times, but he was not seriously injured. After all, we compete every day when playing rugby. Physical fitness is still very strong. He just stared wide-eyed and didn't know what to do. I'm sorry, I studied under Yan Fang. I am in the 10th level of Qigong. Wong Kai said coldly. Then he turned to look at the others. Do you want to try it too? The others immediately waved their hands and shook their heads. A gentle push will send the person flying more than 10 meters. If you really do it, wouldn't it be a fracture at the very least? After sending away the first batch of rugby teams, it didn't take long for the second baseball team to arrive. Then came the basketball team, football team. Wong Kai almost spent the whole day playing house with this group of peers. It can be regarded as realizing Mephisto's sinister intentions. But okay, there were far fewer annoying guys the next day. Wong Kai also officially met with Peter. It's actually you. Peter looked at the two of them in shock. They met a few months ago. Unexpectedly, we are now college classmates. Wong Kai saw Peter showing no reaction to Luna and smiled slightly and stretched out his right hand. It's us, I'm Kai and she's Luna. Peter Parker. Holding hands together, Peter immediately took out his camera. He asked with an expectant look on his face, can you let me take a photo this time? Wong Kai raised his lips with a knowing smile. He had forgotten all about it. Completely fine. Shield Helicourier. After Professor Lizard was imprisoned for several days, the effect of the lizard serum weakened. At the same time, after being treated by Shield scientists, finally began to slowly transform into a human. The result of the interrogation is similar to that in the original work. It was Curtis Connors, a university professor who took the risk of injecting lizard serum in order to restore his severed limbs. As a result, malignant mutations occur. Whenever his mood fluctuates, he will transform into a half-human, half-lizard monster. The only difference is, the final stages of development included the participation of Norman Osborn. Is there any lizard serum left? Coulson asked. If this extremely dangerous biological weapon falls into the wrong hands, the consequences will be disastrous. All equipment and information must be found quickly. The information is all in the Osborn Group's laboratory. Professor Connors said regretfully. Professor Lizard and Norman are both in the same situation. Because the medicine gave birth to an evil personality, he became a villain. His nature is not bad. If the lizard serum produced has no side effects, it will be a blessing to mankind. It's a pity that the event has no if. It's the Osborn Group again. Coulson frowned. SHIELD has long investigated the Green Goblin matter and found that it is closely related to Norman. Now Professor Lizard is related to the Osborn Group. Coulson couldn't help but wonder. It seems necessary to meet Osborn, the entrepreneur. Norman Osborn was very surprised after hearing everything. Then actively cooperated, personally took Coulson and others to Professor Connor's laboratory. This is it, all the information is in it. Norman just finished speaking. Just hear a loud bang. The glass door on the left side of the laboratory was knocked open by a green figure. The glass suddenly shattered all over the place. Then he started wreaking havoc on everything he could see. What the hell? What is this? I saw that the monster in the laboratory was about 2.5 meters tall. The whole body is covered with green skin. The yellow eyes reveal a ferocious look. The ears are thin and long, just like the fantasy creature goblin. Shot, Coulson immediately ordered. The 4 agents around him were shot in the head. The bullet shattered the clear glass of the laboratory. All hit this green-skinned monster on the head. For a while, the monster was bleeding. But it only made him more manic. Roar! The monster roared at several people. Picked up the desk and threw it directly at Coulson. The latter immediately dodged. Norman even hid behind everyone with fear on his face. Press the alarm button and call the NYPD. Coulson frowned as he watched. This happened as soon as we came to investigate. You are fooling the devil. The monster resisted a little. Then he started to continue wreaking havoc. In less than a moment, the entire laboratory was reduced to ruins. Nothing of value can be found anymore. The green-skinned monster completely destroyed the laboratory. Then he roared at the crowd. Then he rushed to the floor-to-ceiling windows. The glass shattered with a bang, falling straight to the ground 20 floors below. A muffled sound came. Coulson hurried over to check. But he only saw the monster take a few steps before disappearing into the darkness. Oh my God, what the hell is that green-skinned monster? Norman looked scared. It seemed as if this matter really had nothing to do with him. Coulson saw this but had no choice but to do anything. All the evidence and information are gone. Even if that kind of green-skinned monster comes out in the future, it has nothing to do with Osborne Industries. And Norman is right next to them. It's also not true that he is the Green Goblin. We will investigate the true identity of that monster, please rest assured, Mr. Norman. Coulson said a few perfunctory words. Then he immediately took the people away. As soon as the person left, Norman changed his face quickly into an evil smile. Anyone who sees it will be heartbroken. Not only has the Green Goblin personality not been eliminated. On the contrary, I became wiser after experiencing near death. Now I am better at hiding myself, waiting for the right time to come out again. On the street, S.H.I.E.L.D. quickly found the escaped green monster through the internet and surveillance. And quickly contacted the new foreign aide Spider-Man. Oh my God, is this the Green Goblin? Spider-Man paused but still didn't say Norman. But Coulson had already heard it. We don't know who this green monster is, but Mr. Osborne was right next to us at the time. Spider-Man was immediately confused, but he still approached quickly. There are no genuine Green Goblin's various high-tech equipment. How can this green-skinned monster outrun Spider-Man by running on only 2 legs? In less than a moment, we were close to the distance where the spider silk was launched. Whoosh! 2 balls of spider silk stuck directly behind the green-skinned monster. Then Spider-Man flicked his hands and the ends of his hands were stuck to the wall. The green-skinned monster fell to the ground with a thud. But Spider-Man didn't get close immediately. Instead, he continued to shoot spider silk to completely stick the green-skinned monster. Strangeness, Spider-Man murmured in his heart. I always feel like something is not quite right. Coulson drove over after a while. He was very happy to see the green-skinned monster stuck to the ground unable to move. Well done, Spider-Man. You did a great job on your first mission. No, something's wrong, he didn't resist at all. The spider sense does not have any danger reminders. Spider-Man immediately tore off the webbing. Drag the green-skinned monster out. When I feel the pulse, there is no beating. Breathing has stopped. Apparently dead. Coulson gritted his teeth and shouted in a low voice. Spider-Man looked at the silent man and patted him on the shoulder. It's not your fault. Even if you don't chase him, he probably won't survive long. Maybe. Spider-Man sighed in his heart. Coulson called in the Quinjet. Take the corpse of the dead green-skinned monster back to study. Although the first goblin version of the Green Goblin died after running a few steps, it didn't cause much panic. But within a few days, more green goblins suddenly appeared in Brooklyn. They wreak havoc on everything they can see. Pedestrians, cars, shops. They even broke into houses and smashed them. For a moment, people in Brooklyn were panicked. Many people thought it was Hulk and Abomination appearing again. Or the lizard man who was punched in the face a few days ago. But actually, this is all the result of the new human enhancement agent developed by Norman Osborn. This time Norman did not use it directly for himself. Instead, they captured homeless people and injected them for experiments. The result is what it is now. Strength, self-healing, and regeneration of severed limbs have all been greatly enhanced. But it became even more mindless. And its lifespan is extremely short. It is very difficult to control. We are still far from building an army of green goblins. More experiments are required. So the short-lived green goblin began to spread. Wreckage began throughout New York. Kai, have you seen the news? As soon as Peter Parker saw Wong Kai at school, he immediately approached him. Green monsters are spreading in New York, can you help? Wong Kai raised his eyebrows. He read the news about the appearance of the comic version of the Green Goblin. But I don't have much interest. After all, there is no check-in point if you kill one. Why would he want to help S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm sorry, you'd better go find S.H.I.E.L.D. Wong Kai shrugged and said he had no ability. But Peter soon turned his attention to Luna. Luna, can you ask your brother to help? Wong Kai. Through these few days of contact, Peter already knew the two of them very well. As long as two people are together, Wong Kai will definitely listen to what Luna says. Brother, those green-skinned monsters are destroying everywhere, and many people may lose their lives. Luna squeezed Wong Kai's palm and whispered. Wong Kai suddenly felt helpless. There's no point in being handsome, you just have to listen to girls. What a wise saying. Okay, I promise you. After nightfall, Coulson looked surprised. Unexpectedly, Spider-Man actually brought Wong Kai and his sister here. Now there is no pressure no matter how many green goblins there are. I'll just say it. Wong Kai looked at Coulson and said coldly. It's not because of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not because of Spider-Man, it's because of Luna. She is a caring person, but I don't want anyone to use her love to blackmail me. Otherwise, after cutting down these green-skinned monsters, the next knife will fall on your heads. Coulson suddenly broke into a cold sweat. Other agents are equally silent. Spider-Man just lowered his head in shame. I feel like what I did was really not very authentic. Brother Kai, I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to. Luna wants to apologize, but Wong Kai stopped her words. It's not a bad thing to be loving. It's not your fault. I never blamed you. The corner of Wong Kai's mouth lifted up to reveal a spring-like smile. Let's go, let's catch all those green-skinned mice. Luna also showed her dimples when she saw this. Okay, why don't we compete to see who catches the most? Good. Wong Kai drove Metal Storm away. Luna also used the floating technique to fly into the distance. Stop looking and start working. Coulson immediately ordered everyone. They wanted to tell the two of them where the Green Goblin appeared. Only in this way can all the Green Goblins scattered in New York be captured as quickly as possible. First, there is a gas station 3 kilometers northeast of you wreaking havoc. Good. A cold voice came out. Within a second, Coulson heard a violent whistling sound from the earphones. He knew that it was Metal Storm traveling at supersonic speed. A few more seconds passed. The sound of the wind disappears. I only heard a few excited sounds like, Metal Storm is coming to save us. Then a scream sounded. Wong Kai's cold voice came out again. Next. Chapter 51. There is no need to say more about Wong Kai. These experimental green monsters are no match at all. Even if we go together, there won't be much difference. Luna is relatively more complicated. Miss Luna, there are 2 in the supermarket northwest of you, can you handle them? The agent asked cautiously. He didn't know Luna's strength. But I know that Wong Kai is a fierce man who can chop down a building like a vegetable. He would definitely not be able to bear it if something happened. Don't worry, there is no problem. Luna's clear and sweet voice came from the headphones. Under the same high-speed flight, Luna who uses magic doesn't make that much noise. After a while, we arrived at the supermarket the agent mentioned. The glass door is safe and sound. The 2 green goblins crashed through a wall and entered directly. The shelves inside are tilted here and there. Various snacks and daily necessities were scattered on the ground. And the 2 green goblins were devouring all kinds of food. Even rolls of cylindrical toilet paper were stuffed into his mouth. It's like a starving ghost reincarnated. Are you hungry? Luna's slightly frightened voice sounded. The two green goblins immediately turned their heads. The big yellow eyes are like light bulbs. The green ugly face is more like a western monster. Luna's heart trembled when she saw it. I couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Roar! The two green monsters opened their mouths and roared wildly. He dropped the toilet paper in his hand and ran towards Luna. Seeing the vicious green goblin, Luna's first reaction was to fly into the sky. Then it didn't seem so scary anymore. 2 green goblins roared at her feet. But he couldn't reach her at all. Luna took a deep breath to suppress the panic of not having Wong Kai by her side. Use both hands together to release Cytorak's crimson chain. The red silk cloth quickly tied a knot around the ankles of the 2 green demons and passed through it like a snake. Luna pulled up and hung the 2 green monsters upside down. Then just fly to the next target point. The 2 of them were extremely fast. It doesn't take an hour. Trouble Shield and Spider-Man's Green Goblin disaster problem were easily solved by them. And most of the time is still spent on the road. Wong Kai drove Metal Storm back to the starting point. All the green goblins were knocked out by him with one punch. The bones are almost falling apart. They were gathered together by Wong Kai and brought back into a green ball. There are about 20 or so. Everyone watching was surprised. And 5 minutes later Luna returned. It makes them stunned. Luna was seen flying about 30 meters into the air. A red shiny silk trailing behind him. There is a green goblin hanging upside down at regular intervals above. The roaring sound keeps coming. And one after another. It's like hanging a bunch of bells. Wong Kai could see at a glance that there were 11 green monsters hanging on it. So he threw the green monsters in his hands until there were only 10 left. Then he immediately flew over to show Luna. Ha 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 Luna, you are so awesome, you won the game. If you want anything, just ask. Luna smiled, as beautiful as 100 flowers blooming, and lightly opened her lips and teeth and said, I just want Brother Kai to stay with me forever. Absolutely no problem. The hearty laughter of the 2 people spread around. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who were attracted to Luna were all envious. Naturally, this includes Spider-Man, Peter Parker. I wish to win the heart of one person. The white head is not separated. Spider-Man also longs for sweet love. Just touched my pocket before. Even if I want to treat the goddess to a better lunch, I can't. But he should be fine now. Ahem, Chief Coulson, I have something to trouble you with. Spider-Man said embarrassedly. Can you advance half of that salary to me in advance? Coulson laughed loudly after hearing this. How could he, who has been here, not know what Spider-Man wants to do? No problem, the $50,000 is already in your salary card. So on the second day, Peter Parker came to the door of the goddess Mary Jane's house across the door. Holding a large bouquet of roses in his hand, he placed it behind his back. Dress yourself up handsomely and charmingly. Press the doorbell gently. Beep. Suddenly there were footsteps inside the door. After 2 breaths, the door opened, revealing Mary Jane's charming and beautiful face. Hi, Peter, what's the matter? Mary looked half surprised and half at a loss as she asked. Just when Peter was about to take out the roses, I heard footsteps coming from inside the house again. At the same time, a man's voice sounded. My dear, who came to see you? The door opens, revealing a disheveled handsome blonde boy. Mary Jane was immediately extremely embarrassed. But what's even more embarrassing is Peter Parker. He knows this handsome blonde guy. It was John Jonathan, the son of the owner of the Daily Bugle where he worked. Hey Parker, I know you, my dad's best man. Only you can get Spider-Man a huge buck with HD photos of Spider-Man vs. Metal Storm. The cool sports car downstairs was only thanks to you that Dad had enough money to buy it for me. Click. Spider-Man suddenly heard the sound of heartbreak. These 3 sentences are simply heart-wrenching. Invisibly belittle the opponent. Another stab in the opponent's heart. Even sprinkled with salt, pepper, and chili powder at the end. It's like putting it on a fire. Parker, what's behind you? John asked with a smile on his face. I don't know if I saw it or not. Point out the roses on Peter's back. This was sent to me by someone else. Put the rose directly into Mary's hand. Peter ran away in panic without looking back. As a result, I heard another sentence before leaving. He almost fell down the stairs. Haha, My dad must have asked him to send this. Peter is always the best. Peter Parker didn't know how he walked out of the building in the end. My whole mind is blank. Who am I? Where am I? What am I going to do? Who is hitting me? 4 questions keep circling in my mind. It made him depressed for several days. Maybe it was the scene that day that made Mary Jane feel a little guilty. So she took the initiative to come to Peter's house. Come to see the goddess. Spider-Man immediately transformed into a dog licker. The grievances and resentments in my heart disappeared without a trace in an instant. I know you like me, Peter, and I'm sorry John said those hurtful things. Ha, I didn't take it to heart at all. I have already quit my job at the newspaper. I now have a good job with an income dozens of times that of what I did there. But Mary shook her head and sighed, not believing it at all. You don't have to ruin your life by being so angry. And although I was with John, I felt that it was not real love. There's someone else I like, and he's a superhero. And he saved me. Peter was instantly excited. Isn't this talking about Spider-Man? I just wanted to identify myself. As a result, Mary's next words instantly stunned Peter. He is Metal Storm. Peter, can you tell me who he is? Mary looked at Peter expectantly. And Peter's heartbroken face almost squeezed together. The expression is extremely distorted, just like Yan Yi. The whole person was so heartbroken that he wanted to cry but had no tears. What about Spider-Man? He told me you guys kissed while hanging upside down in the rain. Isn't this love? Mary was stunned for a moment. But she can't say that she likes Metal Storm because he's too big. The rich rely on technology, while the losers rely on mutation. Such a huge mecha must be worth a fortune. But what about Spider-Man? Just looking at that low-quality red cloth uniform, you can tell that his family is poor. There is no contrast between the two together. To be honest, I just like rich people. John, the son of the newspaper owner, is an example. I have loved him, I have liked him, but Spider-Man is a good man and we are not suitable for him. Please tell him this. Click. This time it's not heartbreak. Instead, the whole person was shattered to the ground like glass. Even the soul was shattered into powder. I'm sorry, I can't tell you who Metal Storm is. Peter rejected Mary in despair. As soon as they arrived at school, they told the news to Wong Kai and Luna, who were inseparable. Waterfa. The second sound indicates doubt. Wong Kai looked confused. This has something to do with him. Luna actually giggled. Brother Kai has such great charm without showing his face. If he showed his face, wouldn't it mean that people who like you would line up from school to Times Square? Wong Kai's face suddenly darkened. He keeps a cold face all day long, just telling others not to let strangers in. But I can't stand other people's imagination. In the eyes of a fangirl, even if you fall on your back and fall to the ground, you are still so handsome that you are so handsome. Don't make trouble, I just saved her once. I even said something to her. Peter, don't be sad, I'll ask Luna to introduce you to a better one. Luna nodded repeatedly. Yeah, I made a lot of new friends. They are all single. Gwen Stacy, the prettiest among them, secretly revealed to me that she likes Spider-Man. Faced with the good intentions of the two people, Peter just shook his head slowly. I want some quiet time. Feeling that he was lovelorn, Peter left school gloomily. Wong Kai looked at it with contempt in his heart. The soul of dog licking has not been extinguished yet. That green tea guy said this and still doesn't understand. At this time, the school radio suddenly played a piece of news. Dear students, the observatory predicts that there will be a meteor shower passing over New York tonight. The school will hold activities to watch it together. Meteor shower. Wong Kai's heart moved. Didn't the alien symbiote in Spider-Man 3 come out of a meteorite? Just in time for this meteor shower. Looking at Peter Parker, who was already walking away, he knew in his heart that this was the check-in point and waved to him. After nightfall, depressed, Peter came to a woods in the suburbs to relax. I tied a net on a tree and lay directly on it to watch the stars. As a result, Wong Kai's voice came next to him not long after. It seems like you received a big blow. Peter turned around and found that Luna and Wong Kai had come behind him at some point. And he didn't react at all. How come you guys are following me? Peter asked. Wong Kai told the reason he had prepared long ago. The school held an event to watch the meteor shower, so I came to find you. Besides, looking at your appearance during the day, I'm worried that you won't be able to think straight. Thank you, but I'm fine. Peter forced a smile and said. At least there are people who consider him a friend. The three of them chatted for a while, although it failed to let Peter get out of the shadow of broken love. But at least I am no longer dejected. This is when Luna pointed to the sky and shouted in surprise, Look, look. It's a shooting star. The dark night sky constantly draws bright lights. Once it passes, all the light is released. Hurry up and close your eyes and make a wish. Luna said immediately. At the same time, he took the lead in putting his hands together and closing his eyes. Peter on the side saw the same thing. I don't know what wish I made. Wong Kai, on the other hand, stared straight at the sky, looking for that fiery red meteor. Although the time is right, but the location is not certain. In about less than 10 seconds, the meteor shower has ended. Wong Kai looked at the sky and wondered. Isn't it today? After Luna opened her eyes, she looked at Wong Kai and asked hurriedly, Brother Kai, what are your wishes? Just like you. Wong Kai replied casually without thinking. Luna's face turned red. You are so bad. Wong Kai. QOQ. I was just about to ask Luna what was going on in her mind. Peter suddenly pointed to the sky and shouted in surprise. Hey look, there's a shooting star at the last minute. Wong Kai turned around and looked. I saw only a moment of fiery red meteors streaking across the sky. Then it actually flew towards them. It can't be so unlucky. As soon as Wong Kai finished speaking, Peter's spider sense went off with a loud alarm. This meteor is hitting them. Run. Boom. The three of them hurriedly ran away. The shooting star hit Peter's spider web. A full score of 10 rings passed through. It hit the ground with a muffled sound. It didn't cause an explosion. If a meteor does not burn up in the sky, it is a meteorite. The surface of this fiery red meteorite is as pitted as a honeycomb. It hasn't cooled down yet. Smoke was still coming out after hitting the ground. The three of them saw it almost instantly. You didn't make a wish for a meteorite just now, did you? Wong Kai complained to Peter. This is too accurate, hitting the spider web right in the middle. How is it possible? I wish Mary Jane could change her mind. Peter's voice became softer and quieter as he spoke. Wong Kai and Luna were filled with contempt. Mary is not a human being, but you are a real dog. Ahem, let's go take a look at the meteorite first. Peter walked over first. At this time in the crater, this fiery red meteorite hesitated when it touched the ground, cooled rapidly and suddenly cracked. A mass of black slime-like material crawled out from the inside. This is the alien symbiote. Still unconscious at this time. Instinctively, I felt Peter approaching. When Peter was attracted by the meteorite, he jumped up instantly. Then it stuck to his body like chewing gum. Oh my God, what is this? Peter was shocked and tore off the black symbiote and wanted to throw it away. But it's a pity it's useless at all. He tore it apart faster than the symbiote spread. In just 1 or 2 breaths, Peter was completely enveloped. The system prompts that sign in has also started. Luna saw this and wanted to go up to help, but was directly stopped by Wong Kai. Don't worry, he's fine. This is called an alien symbiote. Peter is probably feeling very good now. Really. As soon as Wong Kai finished speaking, Peter, who was still struggling, calmed down instantly. The black symbiote quickly faded from his face to reveal Peter's surprised face. This is really awesome. I feel so good. The black symbiote perfectly wrapped him. On the chest is a huge white spider pattern. Peter could clearly feel that this layer of black material was under his control and integrates perfectly with his spider power, strengthened his strength, agility, reaction speed and other all-round attributes. The most important thing is that all worries and sorrows disappear. The brain is very excited. I just feel the happiness flowing out continuously. He even danced on the spot angrily. Hey, how do you know the name of this thing? Peter asked while dancing. Wong Kai smiled slightly. I know a lot more. This alien symbiote will enhance the host's ability and at the same time amplify the host's desires. Amplify desire? Luna asked. How could such a thing happen? Wong Kai raised the corners of his mouth. This is the charm of alien symbiote. There are not so many perfect people in this world. Even the moral model Captain America will reveal his dark side after being possessed by an alien symbiote. But at the same time, he can also rely on his own will to suppress it. Good people can turn bad. Bad guys may also become heroes who save the world. It will allow you to let yourself go and find the true meaning of life. As long as you are not lost by the powerful power, then the black symbiote is the strongest fighting partner. Enjoy it, Peter. Peter nodded with great satisfaction. This kind of fighting partner is indeed what he needs. Happiness is enough. Hey, does he have a name? Peter asked angrily. Alien symbiote sounds like words like human, man, woman. You can call it Venom, but unfortunately it's not conscious yet. There will always be awareness. Peter finally finished his dance. Bowed to thank them both. Thank you both for watching. This concludes tonight's performance. Oh, ho, yeah, Spider-Man lets himself fly and shoots webbing to get out of here. Luna looked dumbfounded. Is it really okay for him to be like this? I feel like my whole person has changed. It's better to be happy than to be unhappy. He's doing well this way. The angry Spider-Man finally appeared. This is how he should live. Ding, congratulations to the host for signing in at the place where Spider-Man was possessed by the alien symbiote. The sign-in time exceeded 5 minutes and the sign-in task was successfully completed. Ding, get 500 check-in points. Ding, the next sign-in location is the place of Whiplash's revenge. If you stay for more than 3 minutes, you will be deemed to have signed in successfully. The system sounded. Wong Kai received 500 check-in points. There are now a total of 2,650 check-in points. I opened them all and took a look and found no skill enhancement points. These check-in points were saved again. Let's go, it's time for us to go back. Besides, what wish did you just make? In the next few days, everyone feels that Peter Parker is full of energy now. It's like he's become a different person. People rely on clothes. Peter threw away his old clothes. Put on a set of expensive black casual clothes. Flirting with girls like crazy in college. Dancing, piano, basketball, skateboard. There's nothing he can't do. Every time he appears, he perfectly explains what it means to be flirtatious. It only took a few days to attract a large number of fans. Look, I think it's good for him to be like this. Wong Kai pointed his finger and was shaking his hips crazily at his fangirl. Like Peter from the Electric Motor said. The fans surrounding Peter screamed like crazy. Really love this Peter now. Well, brother, can you dance? He's quite interesting like that. Luna's sudden words made Wong Kai stunned on the spot. Ah, I can't. Oh, turns out you can't, that's great. Luna's eyes flashed and she said with a smile. It seemed as if he saw something that made him very happy. But Wong Kai only felt that something was wrong. As Peter continued to dance. Suddenly the spider sense gave him a severe warning. Everyone get down. Boom. A small missile exploded on campus. With a loud noise, flames shot into the sky. A big hole was blown out of the grass. It is unknown whether any students were injured. Quack quack. The extremely evil laughter came from far away. It turned out to be the Green Goblin who came again to seek revenge on Peter Parker on a demon glider that was even bigger than before. But this time the Green Goblin is different from before. Abandoning the green control suit that covered the whole body. Instead, I injected myself with it. After many trials. The Green Goblin serum is a mixture of lizard serum and a new body strengthening agent. Transformed himself into a green-skinned monster nearly 3 meters tall. He has strength, self-healing, and limb regeneration. And it's even stronger than Professor Lizard. Later, new equipment was upgraded. Wearing a pair of purple mechanical gloves on both hands. The body was put on a thick half-length armor. The only thing that remains unchanged is the evil laughter. Quack, why don't you show up yet, Spider-Man? The Green Goblin fires missiles again. Suddenly there was a burst of fearful screams in the campus. The students ran away in panic. No one wants to be on this sudden dangerous list of victims. What kind of monster is this? Brother Kai, let's catch him quickly. Luna rolled up her sleeves when she saw her classmate being blown up by a missile, crying for his father and mother, and wanted to rush forward. But he was directly stopped by Wong Kai. Don't worry, we have an old enemy. Before the words fell, venomous Spider-Man appeared directly. Both hands shoot black spider silk to stick to the glider. Then he burst out with force and pulled fiercely. It actually pulled the aircraft down. And the Green Goblin didn't stand firm. It even fell straight from the air. Venomous Spider-Man saw this and kicked his legs. The grass beneath my feet sounded like an explosion. With the speed of an arrow, he arrived under the Green Goblin in the blink of an eye. When he couldn't dodge in the air, he clenched his fists. Nearly 100 tons of power spewed out like a volcanic eruption. An ordinary uppercut. It hit the Green Goblin's waist with great ferocity. Bang! Click! The Green Goblin's thick armor shattered with a sound. Wong Kai frowned as he looked at it. This punch was aimed at killing the Green Goblin. It seems that the alien symbiote still has an impact on Peter. The Green Goblin was punched into the sky. The demon glider flew quickly to catch him. The expression on his face was very painful. Obviously he didn't feel well with this punch. But within 2 or 3 seconds, the Green Goblin continued to laugh. You've actually become stronger. Ga ga ga. The terrifying force that is enough to break an ordinary person in two is only a little painful for the Green Goblin. Very good, very energetic. Green Goblin jumps off the glider. Come to the ground and let out a deafening roar at Peter. Roar. A strong current of air blew towards Peter. But Venomous Spider-Man is not afraid at all. The bloody mouth full of fangs spit out venom. A long scarlet tongue half a meter long let out a shocking roar that echoes through the sky at the Green Goblin. Ha ha ha. It turns out we are all monsters. The Green Goblin was excited to see Venomous Spider-Man's long tongue. As a villain with both mutation and technology, even if you don't know what happened to Spider-Man, the Green Goblin also decided to find out the source of Peter's changes. Come on, let's have a big fight. The Green Goblin kicked his feet and rushed towards the Venomous Spider-Man like a heavily armored tank. And Venomous Spider-Man neighed. My whole body began to change immediately. The whole body is several times stronger than before. He is also as tall as the Green Goblin, reaching about 3 meters. With the support of 2 thick unicorn arms, he got down on all fours and started running towards the Green Goblin. More like a monster than the Green Goblin. The distance between the two keeps getting closer. The ground beneath my feet is constantly trembling. No bells and whistles. Both monsters clenched fists bigger than basketballs. Punch out with the strongest force. Bang! The collision between green and black caused the air to burst in an instant. All exposed glass windows throughout the campus were shattered. Shock waves spread out in all directions. It blew away countless people who wanted to get closer to watch the show. Very powerful. The Green Goblin grinned evilly. Suddenly his fists turned into claws, grabbing Venom Spider-Man's wrist. At the same time, the fingers of the mechanical glove quickly opened. Use a sharp edge to quickly remove a drop of venom sample. Then the other Green Goblin quickly grabbed Venomous Spider-Man. The complete set of 2 machines quickly releases ultra-high voltage current. Stab, stab. The blue lightning flashed away. Venomous Spider-Man actually has white smoke coming out from his body. The Green Goblin even smelled of burnt protein. But before he could react, I found that the Venomous Spider-Man in my hand became more and more powerful. The clasped wrist instantly turns into liquid. Then Venomous Spider-Man did not advance but retreated. Jumping back a step, the black symbiote wrapped in his hand was stretched. The Green Goblin immediately sensed something bad. Roar! Venomous Spider-Man pulled his hands and then started to spin. The Green Goblin was pulled into the air like a meteor hammer. Then there was a sudden change of direction. Smash it down hard. Boom! The ground cracked like a spider web. And in the hole in the center of the spider web lay the Green Goblin, whose whole body was sore and gnashing his teeth. Unexpectedly, electric shock will actually make Venomous Spider-Man even crazier. I immediately want to summon the demon glider to cut off this black liquid. But Venomous Spider-Man didn't give him a chance. It's the same trick to pull up the Green Goblin. Once again, I was forced into the ground. Boom, boom, boom. The campus suddenly heard a continuous sound of banging on the ground. The Green Goblin summoned the glider after being hit 5 times in a row. The sharp front section cuts off the black symbiote connecting the Green Goblin and Spider-Man at high speed. The Green Goblin immediately jumped on the glider and flew into the sky. With strong self-healing, even though the injury can be recovered quickly. But if you keep fighting, the nasty flies will soon arrive. Throw a flash bomb and the Green Goblin escapes from here without looking back. And the black symbiote on his hand fell off automatically. falling towards Venom Spider-Man on the ground. Phew. The dazzling white light flashed away. Venomous Spider-Man also covered his eyes. Looking at the sky, the Green Goblin has already flown without a shadow. Roar. Venomous Spider-Man opened his bloody mouth and roared at the sky. It seems that he is very dissatisfied with the Green Goblin's escape behavior. Wong Kai looked at all this and frowned. In order to maintain Spider-Man's positive image, children's sales, Spider-Man almost never has this kind of roaring behavior in movies and animations. Not to mention sticking out the iconic tongue. But the real world doesn't have so many rules and regulations. Venomous Spider-Man can still chew off a head in one bite. Hey, Peter, remember what I said. Don't get lost in this power. Wong Kai's voice suddenly sounded in Venom Spider-Man's ears. Only then did Peter react. Looking at the ruins on the ground, I can hardly believe that he did it. Huge amounts of rapid shrinkage. He looked around and quickly jumped to a place where no one could see him. After a while, the three of them met in an empty classroom. Luna took out her phone with a smile on her face. He even took pictures of all the scenes of Peter's battle just now. Pointing to the photo of Peter roaring at the Green Goblin, he joked. I didn't expect you to have such a domineering side. Where did this red tongue come from? Your tongue isn't that long either. Peter immediately covered his face when he saw this. He didn't expect that he would become like this. Although the Green Goblin was defeated. But it destroyed the school's public green space beyond recognition. This is completely different from his previous style. Hey, what should I do? Peter was at a loss and had to turn to Wong Kai for help. That's not a bad thing. Wong Kai also said with a smile. As long as you can control this power, appearance does not determine whether you are a hero or a villain. But I destroyed the outside like that. This is inevitable. You can't even protect the flowers and plants. Wong Kai shrugged. No casualties is already the best situation. I want to attack the villain and not hurt anything. This is a bit too holy. Osborn Group Laboratories. The 3-meter-tall green-skinned monster disappeared. Norman Osborn is observing the small droplet of alien symbiote sample captured. What a magical creature. Maybe I can cultivate it and control it. Norman, who was possessed physically and mentally by the evil Green Goblin personality, showed a cruel smile. Such an interesting thing. Naturally, people are required to conduct experiments. And the best candidate, Norman Osborn, already has the answer in his mind. 3 days later, Peter's scalp went numb when he looked at today's newspaper. There is a black Spider-Man who goes around the city fighting criminals. But the method is very cruel and terrible. Either break your wrist or break your ankle. Or just give the crotch a kick. Kick the guy who is trying to misbehave to a height of 4 to 5 meters. There was only a scream left at the scene. Even the victims were scared away. The most terrible thing is that this person did it in the name of Spider-Man. Peter feels like his superhero days are really coming to an end. Who is this person? It's definitely not the Green Goblin. He should be about the same size as me. Just as Peter was thinking hard, good gay friend Harry came to his house mysteriously. He said he wanted to share some good news with him. Don't be scared, Peter. This is the nanosuit my father developed for me. Harry smiled mysteriously. He raised his left hand and pulled down his sleeve, revealing the gray watch inside. The area on the watch dial is a green hourglass pattern. Outside the hourglass, everything is black. Harry pressed lightly. Suddenly the green hourglass disappeared. The black substance on the watch dial seems to come alive. Harry was wrapped up in an instant. It's really like nanotechnology. But Peter recognized it clearly. Isn't this an alien symbiote? It turns out Harry is Spider-Man in black. Peter, you are my best friend. I will only tell this secret to you. Harry's words came from the symbiote body covering his whole body. The iconic sharp fangs and scarlet tongue have not yet appeared. And Peter just felt like his mind was going crazy. Jesus, listen Harry, take this thing off. Peter said anxiously. But in fact, he himself has not shed the alien symbiote. Why, my father gave this to me. I want to use this nanosuit to repair Spider-Man. Harry asked Peter angrily. I didn't expect that my best friend would actually want to stop me. This is not a nanosuit at all. Your father is lying to you. He is using you as a test subject. Just like those green-skinned monsters who were test subjects a few days ago. Harry was silent for a moment. When Peter saw this, he immediately showed off his cards. Actually, your father is the Green Goblin. He was controlled by his evil personality. The words haven't been finished yet. Harry suddenly punched Peter in the chest. There was a loud bang. Huge amounts of force knocked Peter flying more than 10 meters. Stopped only after hitting the wall at home. Even the brick wall was hit with several cracks. If Peter is really just an ordinary person. After this punch, the person was gone. How dare you humiliate my father? He's so ugly with green skin. Harry's mouth opened wide and he asked angrily. You can already see the fangs coming out one after another. When the host's mood fluctuates rapidly, the signs of integration with alien symbiotes will be more obvious. Harry became angrier the more he thought about it. He never expected that his best friend would slander his father like this. Out of rage, a long scarlet tongue soon appeared in his mouth. Looking at Peter, who was slowly getting up, he rushed over. Boom! The two broke through the wall and came out, falling directly from the apartment onto the street. And Peter has transformed into venomous Spider-Man. Venom versus Venom is on the verge of breaking out. Okay, so you are Spider-Man. Harry figured everything out instantly. Then came more and more anger. I just feel like this best friend is so hypocritical. You actually lied to yourself for so long. The body grows rapidly like a balloon. In the blink of an eye, it was already 3 meters tall. He grabbed the car on the side and threw it towards Peter like a toy. Where has the female driver in the car ever seen such a scene? Suddenly he was so frightened that he screamed. But Peter's incarnation of Venom Spider-Man is the same as the original body shape. He stepped forward and caught the car with difficulty. But then the female driver in the car stepped on the accelerator out of fear. Peter just put the car down. The car knocked him to the ground directly. Then he ran over him directly. How could Harry give up this opportunity when he saw this? He kicked hard and jumped over, lying on top of Peter. The fists became bigger again, almost a basin file size. Just punch Peter in the face. Bang, bang, bang. The punches hit the flesh, the sound was deafening. Each punch can flatten a car. You can imagine it hitting Spider-Man. But clay figurines also have a 3-part nature. Angry emotions were gradually drawn out. Venomous Spider-Man pulls out his right leg. Aiming at Harry's chest, he kicked him with the strongest force. Bang! Harry flew into the distance with a loud bang like a cannonball. Finally landed in a park. And Venom Spider-Man's long tongue is back. All the resentment in Peter's heart was released. It's not like he turned Osborn into the Green Goblin. It wasn't him who almost killed Osborn. Why should all the fault be placed on him? He is the biggest victim. Roar! Venomous Spider-Man roared. The height increased to 3 meters again. He jumped up and shot out black spider silk and rushed towards Harry. I'm going to get you out of here, Harry. Venomous Spider-Man roared. Compared to the last time when he killed without saying a word, this time I am still relatively sober. 2 black 3-meter-tall humanoid monsters landed in the park and immediately caused panic among tourists. The panicked people screamed and left the park. The question on everyone's mind is what happened to New York? Why do monsters never stop? Is this the end of the world? You can't rest for a few days and then come out to cause harm to the world. Even if you go to other cities, don't wander around in one place in New York all the time. At this time, the news of the 2 Venom Park battles has been broadcast on live TV. Except for the Green Goblin, everyone watching this battle. And Nick Fury and Coulson from S.H.I.E.L.D. Sir, why don't you send someone to stop it? If these 2 big guys fight, I'm afraid it will have the same negative impact as Hulk and Abomination. Facing Coulson's slightly anxious inquiry, Nick Fury is calm and gentle. No need, someone will stop you. Isn't it him who solved the Abomination last time? The other side, Green Goblin watching Venom versus Venom. A very excited smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. The experiment was very successful. Harry, without any enhancement, was actually able to fight Spider-Man. This shows the strangeness of this alien symbiote. Now he desperately needs more alien symbiotes. In the park, the battle of Venom versus Venom is still going on. The 2 of them completely abandoned their defenses. Both are torn together. The huge fist carries power enough to make the earth tremble. Every punch feels like cracking mountains and cracking rocks. But hitting the body doesn't have much effect. It is almost impossible to tell the winner between the two. And during the constant struggle, the black alien symbiotes even started integrating with each other. For a while I couldn't even tell who was who. At this time, a golden portal suddenly opened not far from their battle. Wong Kai and Luna walked out from the other side. All I saw was a mass of black mucus that was tearing and integrating wildly. The alien symbiote is getting bigger and bigger. We have to come to the rescue again. That's right, we are the most powerful after all. The two looked at each other and smiled. Wong Kai summoned a metal storm to appear. Raise your arms in front of your chest. A blue energy ball instantly appeared in front of the palm. Reaches maximum after 0.2 seconds. Then it was launched with a bang. The blue energy ball exploded on the black symbiote almost instantly. At this time, the fleeting blue channel was revealed. The black symbiote that was already in the integrate state was blown up like a balloon. The ground was immediately covered with symbiote fragments. Then the fragments turned into slimes and crawled toward the two people in the center of the black slime. In less than a few breaths, the symbiote was all integrated into the unconscious two people's bodies. No clues can be seen from the outside anymore. It no longer needs to be worn like clothes. After a while, the Quinjet landed from the sky. Peter and Harry were taken away. Coulson invited the two of them to the space carrier as guests. Wong Kai didn't want to go, but Luna is interested. Then he agreed. Thousands of meters in the air. The SHIELD space carrier is quietly floating here. The Quinjet that Wong Kai and others were riding circled around before landing on it. They were given a complete view of this iconic combat and scientific research platform of SHIELD. Wow, wow, Luna stared at the aircraft carrier flying in the sky with wide eyes. The sound of exclamation rang in everyone's ears again and again. The feeling of shock is beyond words. Coulson introduced the two of them with a smile. This sea, land and air amphibious aircraft carrier is the technological crystallization of SHIELD. It is our second headquarters. It is difficult for ordinary people to see it. A moment later the Quinjet landed. Under the leadership of Coulson, Wong Kai and Luna met Marvel's Malefax, One-Eyed Egg, and SHIELD director Nick Fury. "Ha, your sister." Nick Fury noticed the difference at first glance. However, he quickly adjusted due to his strong psychological quality. "Nice to meet you, Kai. Really, how happy you are." Quote. Wong Kai's answer instantly made Nick Fury break his guard. "I can't go up or down in one breath, and I'm holding it there. I don't know how to answer." After a few seconds, looking at Wong Kai's cold look, he went directly to the topic. "I have a team and want to invite you to join." "You're talking about the Avengers," Wong Kai said calmly. "Gather the most powerful superheroes in the world to fight against unknown powerful forces and protect the Earth and human civilization. The idea is very good, but unfortunately I am too strong and not suitable for this model at all. Put Wong Kai into the Avengers. Just like Superman in the Justice League next door. It's all a one-man show. The role of the team is minimal. Cannot achieve common progress. The Avengers have a profound impact on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is also an important organization to protect the Earth in the future. If he goes in, it will only be counterproductive." Nick Fury frowned after hearing this. "How do you know about the Avengers project?" "Magic," Wong Kai said coldly. Luna nodded immediately. The poor performance of the two made Nick Fury even more unbelievable. The magic of predicting the future. No comment on that. Nick Fury felt helpless for a moment. He knew that he could only be soft when facing Wong Kai. Forcibly forcing oneself will only lead to fire. After thinking about it, he decided to let Coulson take the two of them to check on the conditions of Peter and Harry. As soon as the two of them left, SHIELD's Iceberg Beauty Hill agent walked into Nick Fury's office. He was very dissatisfied with Wong Kai in words. "He seems to have a tinge of hostility towards SHIELD," Hill said with a cold face. In her mind, this is a potential enemy. But Nick Fury didn't take it to heart. "After all, I gave the order to attack him. It doesn't matter if it's like this now, or if it's like this, he won't let it go if there's danger." Give up the idea of recruiting Wong Kai. Nick Fury went to deal with other matters. As for Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, all the issues are left to Coulson. Aerospace Carrier Scientific Research Room. Peter and Harry still haven't woken up. At this time, he was locked on the workbench for inspection. Wong Kai is not stingy either. Told Coulson all the information about the alien symbiote. Sounds like a parasite, Coulson complained. That's understandable, but if Venom finds out, he will definitely bite your head off. Wong Kai smiled slightly. Just use noise to force the alien symbiote out of both of their bodies. Try it now. Coulson nodded in agreement. They still don't know where the symbiote in Harry came from. The two of them need to be woken up. After a while, the two were sent to another research room. There is a sealed transparent glass warehouse here. After the two were imprisoned, the scientific researchers immediately began to release harsh noises. As a result, Peter and Harry suddenly sat up from a dying illness. The expression on his face was as painful as if he had received an electric shock. Rolling back and forth on the ground and struggling violently. And the body seems to be cast in a black shadow. In less than 2 seconds, the symbiote separated from the body. It's really just like a parasite. Coulson sighed inwardly when he saw this. The separated symbionts in the two bodies are almost identical. Under the noise, it is like the waves on the water surface that are constantly changing. And actually started integrate. A ball of black slime that resembled a human was formed. The body size is also increasing. In the blink of an eye, it has reached 3 meters high. A human face actually appeared in the black liquid. He made a ferocious scream at the people outside the glass warehouse. Oh my God, didn't you say that this thing can survive and fight only if it is possessed? Coulson was shocked when he saw this. Other researchers are also afraid. He quickly took a few steps back. Wong Kai was calm and calm. Your voice is too low, please add more ultrasound. Someone immediately did it. The noise suddenly became more harsh. The huge black symbiote suddenly screamed. Then the body size began to shrink rapidly. Like ice and snow encountering high temperatures. In the blink of an eye, it turned back into a thick liquid that looked like black slime. No problem. Luna opens the portal and drags them out. The noise in the research room is harsh. Wong Kai could only shout loudly to Luna beside him. Then the portal appeared. The magic whip entangled the two people directly. Wong Kai held Luna's hand and pulled Peter and Harry out with a little force. The alien symbiote in the noise was still crawling slowly in the glass cabin. Okay, stop this sound. Coulson immediately shouted after seeing the two people rescued. The portal inside the glass warehouse disappears. And the black symbiote finally regained its vitality. But without its host, it is completely unable to break through this fragile glass wall. I can only wander around in it endlessly. Coulson saw the portal for the first time. But I already knew that Luna was a pure magician, so I wasn't too surprised. But this group of scientific researchers were shocked. When I saw the beautiful Luna, I didn't know it was curiosity. Or is it the passive effect of the succubus? He immediately stepped forward and surrounded Luna. The questions came one after another. Coulson's face turned dark when he saw it. After severely reprimanding all the scientific researchers, everyone came to their senses and dispersed. I'm sorry, this is the first reaction of scientific people when they see magic. It doesn't matter who makes our Luna so cute and charming. Wong Kai and Luna both raised the corners of their mouths. I didn't take this matter to heart. Compared with the students in school who are in full swing of hormones. This is a normal reaction from these tech geeks. At this time, Peter and Harry finally woke up. The two of them looked at each other after getting up. As if everything is left unsaid. Both of them read each other's meaning. The alien symbiote can read and record the host's memories while possessed. And when the two integrate, they also formed a short-term memory exchange. Harry finally understood everything. My father is actually the supervillain Green Goblin. Harry's tone was low and his face was dark. His head also drooped. The greatest person in every child's heart is his father. Now Norman's image in Harry's heart collapsed. It was hard for him to accept it for a while. Upon seeing this, Spider-Man hurriedly comforted. Those things were done by the Green Goblin and had nothing to do with Mr. Osborn. We can definitely cure your father and let him live a normal life again. Wong Kai and Luna both showed special smiles upon hearing this. Peter finally had some enlightenment. It was he who said this originally. Really, can my father's disease be cured? Of course, you are my best friend and I will never give up no matter what. Peter patted Harry's shoulder to reassure him. Then he continued, but in order to cure Mr. Osborn, we must first arrest him. Is there still that black symbiote Green Goblin over there? This is also something Coulson needs to understand. Although the origin of the symbiote was known through the conversation between the two. But the Green Goblin is already difficult enough to deal with. Now if we add symbiote, I'm afraid it will be more difficult. It should be gone. My father said that it is not easy to make that kind of symbiote. As soon as Harry finished speaking, Coulson stepped forward and said, "Okay. Let's arrest the Green Goblin now. Harry, you will report Norman Osborn, so that if the evidence chain is complete, he can be formally arrested." After hearing Coulson's words, Harry hesitated for a moment. Doesn't this mean that he personally sends his father to prison? But in order to cure his father, I had no choice but to agree. The group immediately went to the Osborn Group building. Spider-Man is the main force in this arrest. Wong Kai and Luna were only prepared to watch the excitement and did not intend to take action. After all, Coulson's evidence is solid this time. So I brought a large team of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, paired with SHIELD's advanced weapons. It shouldn't be a problem to subdue a single Green Goblin. The Quinjet flies towards its destination. Everyone inside has their own thoughts. At this time, Peter, who had already put on the classic red and black Spider-Man uniform, seemed to suddenly remember something. Wong Kai looked very embarrassed. "Kay, I'm very sorry about something. I think I told Mary Jane your identity. Walter." Wong Kai looked confused. Didn't he refuse? Why did I tell this green tea again in the blink of an eye? Mary came to my house again yesterday, and at that time as you know, I told him. Wong Kai was speechless for a moment. The arrogant Spider-Man can't keep a secret. What a miscalculation. Did you tell her anything else? No. Then did you do anything? Forehead. Peter was too embarrassed to say anything. Wong Kai naturally did not ask any more questions. But judging from Peter's love for licking dogs, which goes deep into his soul, it is indeed possible that nothing happens. After a little incident on the road, soon the group arrived at the roof of the Osborn Group's parking building. Harry led the way into the spacious president's office. I met Norman Osborn, who was very normal and was handling company affairs. "Harry, why did you come to the company suddenly?" Norman asked strangely, but then he looked at Coulson, the heavily armed agents, and Spider-Man, and his expression suddenly changed. "What do you want to do?" When Harry saw his father's appearance, he immediately stretched out his hand to block everyone. He wants to try mouth escape persuasion. So he walked up to Norman. He said sincerely, "I already know, Father, that you are sick and that evil personality has controlled you. I brought them all to help you. Please let me heal you, okay?" As soon as he finished speaking, Norman's face quickly darkened. "No, you are here to capture me and ruin my life." Norman instantly reached out and grabbed Harry's neck. Harry suddenly felt unable to breathe, but he still held onto Norman's hand, trying to awaken his father's personality. "Dad, what are you doing? I'm your son. It's okay for a weak son like you not to want it." Norman pulled Harry to him with a crazy look on his face. Then he looked at Spider-Man. "That's how he deserves to be my son." Norman laughed evilly. "Turn around and wave your arms." There was just a click and the glass shattered. Harry was thrown out of the building screaming. Harry, how could Spider-Man watch his best friend die in front of him? Immediately ran towards the broken window. But Norman just smiled evilly and didn't stop him. The skin of the body quickly changes to green. The eyes turn yellow. The ears are longer and more pointed. His height and body shape have changed drastically. There was a continuous sound of tearing fabric. In the blink of an eye, the 3-meter-tall Green Goblin appeared. Let out an angry roar at Coulson and others. Roar. Without Spider-Man, you all will die. The Green Goblin smashed the desk in front of him directly, rushing towards Coulson and others. Almost at the same time, all the heavily armed agents opened fire. Balls of blue electric light instantly ejected from the sci-fi gun. There was already a tingling sound of electric shocks in the air. Although there is no smoke and sound of gunpowder weapons, but the power is not inferior to standard firearms at all. In an instant, countless electric lights surrounded the Green Goblin. No explosion occurred. There is only a dense squeaking sound. The violent electric current made the Green Goblin howl in pain. My whole body muscles are twitching and I can barely control my body. While running at high speed, He fell down unexpectedly and rolled towards everyone. Why are you so weak? Wang Kai looked confused. But seeing this, he had no choice but to step out and stop the ball perfectly. He easily blocked the green goblin, which was 3 meters tall and weighed nearly half a ton. Luna looked at the weapon in Coulson's hand with stars in her eyes. Shield's weapons are so powerful. Of course, we're Shield. Coulson looked confident. The super-villain Green Goblin was subdued in just one turn. This is the underestimated enemy of the Green Goblin. It is also the advancement of their weapons. Wang Kai shrugged. Then he kicked the Green Goblin on the head and knocked him unconscious. Only then did I feel relieved. At this time Spider-Man also rescued Harry. I was very surprised to see the battlefield that was over. Kai, did you fail another move? Coulson was a little unhappy when he heard it. You actually don't trust your own company so much. So he immediately picked up the big gun in his hand and introduced it. This is a plasma stun gun. One shot can stun an elephant or even roast it. At least 100 of them hit the Green Goblin just now. It was all thanks to us that we were able to capture the Green Goblin alive. Spider-Man was immediately surprised after hearing this. It turns out Shield is so powerful. Of course. Coulson raised his lips and ordered the Green Goblin to be carried onto the Quinjet. It was not easy to treat the Green Goblin. They had to go to the aerospace aircraft carrier first. Wang Kai and Luna waved goodbye directly. On the space carrier, the Green Goblin's hands and feet are locked by 4 electromagnetic balls. The whole person was hung in the prison in a large font. Researchers extracted the blood of the Green Goblin. I hope that I can use this to produce the corresponding serum. Use this to cure the current Green Goblin. But at this time, the comatose Green Goblin suddenly woke up. Slight movements in the abdomen. A black capsule appeared in the mouth. He opened his mouth to bite it open and spit it out. A black alien symbiote suddenly emerged from the capsule. Go find your companions, the Green Goblin whispered. The black symbiote seemed to understand. He immediately got into the gap in the cell. And the Green Goblin showed an extremely evil smile. The screen turned. Shield Helicourier Lounge. At this time, Peter was still comforting Harry. After all, no one would feel good if his biological father threw him downstairs. He actually threw me downstairs like this. He wanted to kill me and make you his son. Harry said sadly. His father not only denied him, still want to kill him. Even if I knew it was the Green Goblin. But that face he had seen countless times was still difficult for him to accept. No, that's not Mr. Osborn, it's the Green Goblin. You have to believe this. Facing depressed gay friends, this is the only thing Peter can tell Harry. As the two continued to talk, an alarm suddenly sounded inside the space carrier. Warning, unidentified creatures appear inside the mothership. Warning, unidentified creatures appear inside the mothership. The piercing warning sounds on the radio continued to sound. The two immediately left the lounge and went to find Coulson to see what was going on. At this time, the scientific research laboratory stripped of Peter and Harry's alien symbiote has changed beyond recognition. The symbiote spit out from the Green Goblin's mouth relies on the induction between its kind. Found this place quickly. The symbiote jumped from the ventilation duct and landed on a scientific researcher. In a few breaths, he was completely wrapped up. In an instant, other people in the scientific research room were horrified. But the symbiote didn't attack these people. Instead, he ran towards the glass wall where his kind was imprisoned with great ferocity. Bang! Stab! Stab! The glass shattered. A scientific researcher fell into a glass warehouse. The black symbiote in his body immediately broke away from his body impatiently. Then instantly integrate with the same kind inside. The symbiont tissue expands rapidly like a balloon. Then it shattered with a bang, splashing like liquid, wrapping up all the overwhelmed scientific researchers. The scream disappeared completely without leaving the throat. Now the entire scientific research room is filled with venom. These mass-produced venoms don't have the white spider pattern on their chests. But in other aspects it is exactly the same as venom. Especially the iconic mouth full of fangs and long scarlet tongue. Everyone has it. And this is not over yet. The black symbiote spread like a virus into the ventilation ducts of the space carrier. Then when he sees someone, he pounces on them. Turn everyone on the space carrier into venom one by one. And it's still venom controlled by the Green Goblin. Quack, this is what I want to see. The Green Goblin was released from prison by the venoms and laughed heartily. With this alien symbiote that can proliferate almost infinitely, he can completely control this planet. Peter and Harry sighed. The two successfully found Coulson. The latter already understood what happened through monitoring. Without saying a word, he threw the plasma stun gun to the two of them to knock out the Green Goblin for self-defense. Harry, stay here and inform Wong Kai. He always has a way to deal with this kind of thing. Peter and the others follow me. We go to the main control room to play the noise. Strip off all these hateful black parasites. Coulson gave the order with chilling words. But Harry still wanted to see his father. But Coulson held him down. Do you want him to kill you? Harry's heart trembled. I can only put on the mask of pain and nod helplessly. After all, that was the Green Goblin, not his father. Let's go. Coulson set off with everyone with a determined look on his face. I don't know how many people on the space carrier have transformed into venom. This journey is definitely extremely dangerous. Don't have direct contact with them, Coulson said to all the team members. Then he aimed at a venom rushing towards them. Fire. In an instant, countless blue electric lights spurted out from the muzzle. A blue light ball flashed when it came into contact with the venom. The sound of stinging electric current suddenly sounded. But it only makes the venom more violent. But then more blue light groups exploded on the surface of Venom's body. The blue current envelopes the venom. In the blink of an eye, the black symbiote disappeared without a trace. And everyone smelled a burnt smell. The black symbiont was directly evaporated by the high temperature generated by the electric current. When everyone saw this, they immediately stopped. But then the next second another black symbiote fell from the vent above. In less than 2 seconds, Venom, which was just knocked down, is resurrected. Quote. Everyone was so shocked that they were speechless. Venom screamed and roared at everyone. The fangs and long tongue spit out a large ball of saliva. Then he ran towards them. Sir, there's one from behind too. The agent shouts and emits electric light, temporarily suppressing the venom coming from the passage behind him. Break out in groups of 2. Facing the menacing venom. Being surrounded in the passage is tantamount to a death sentence. And Peter, who is the most powerful, does not know how to control the space carrier's system. Therefore, this is the only last resort. The crowd dispersed, invisibly attracting a lot of venom troops. This created an opportunity for Coulson and Spider-Man to get close to the main control room. This thing is not easy to use. Just use my spider silk. Peter just threw away the plasma stun gun. Then he fired spider silk to weave 3 or 4 webs layer by layer in the passage behind him. Block the pursuit of venom behind you. Then he picked up Coulson, grabbed his legs, and started running wildly in the passage. Left, right. Coulson reacted quickly and knew that this was the fastest way. I didn't care about this posture. Immediately act as a human navigator to point out the direction for Peter. At the same time, he held a plasma stun gun as a turret, continuously repelling the poisonous people in front who tried to stop the 2 people. Under such a cool operation like a humanoid self-propelled tank, the 2 finally arrived at the main control room smoothly. But then I felt cold when I saw the scene in front of me. A venom with only one eye was staring at them. And he also held a plasma stun gun in his hand. Director Fury, I have to say that Venom is very face-saving. Even Nick Fury's one-eyed logo is retained. Although Venom Fury has a long-range weapon in his hand. But it wasn't him who frightened the 2 of them. Behind Venom Fury is standing a green-skinned monster over 3 meters tall. It's the Green Goblin who has escaped from prison. Oh, it's you, Mr. Coulson. How can I thank you for bringing me here? Quack quack. The Green Goblin's taunts and wild laughter made Coulson extremely angry. Just pull the trigger directly on the Green Goblin's head. Blue lightning instantly exploded on the Green Goblin's face. The sound of stinging electric shocks sounded. But the Green Goblin didn't react at all. Didn't even blink. It's just a pretense. Do you really think this thing will be useful to me? The Green Goblin looked at Coulson with a sneer. Then he immediately shouted to Venom Fury, "Go kill them with the gun in your hand." Venom Fury responded and pulled the trigger. And Peter's spider sense has already sensed the danger in advance. The wind was rising at his feet and he fled the main control room in a flash. Venom Fury immediately followed. Shield, nothing more. The Green Goblin sneered. Order the other Venoms in the main control room to sail the space carrier to New York. There he will spread the black symbiote into the city. The other side, Spider-Man was still running away in a panic while carrying Coulson on his back. Mr. Coulson, what should we do now? There are more and more Venom. They can't escape forever. But how could Coulson not know this problem? Hold on, we have to wait until Wong Kai comes. Then he hesitated for a moment and said through gritted teeth, in addition, we must also be prepared to completely blow up this space carrier. As a top agent, how could you not guess the Green Goblin's evil plan? And Coulson also knew very well that almost the entire space carrier was now filled with alien symbiotes taking orders from the Green Goblin. In order to eliminate these nasty parasites, prevent them from falling to the ground and infecting the entire Earth. In desperation, destroying all the symbiotes and the space carrier together is the last resort. Blow this place up. When Peter heard this, he thought Coulson was also possessed by Venom. What about the others? So it's just preparation. Coulson said worriedly, sometimes there is no best solution in the world. Even if doing so might sacrifice our SHIELD colleagues on the helicarrier. But it's also something they have to face. The two continued to escape. Suddenly Peter's spider sense warned him again. Jumping high with all your might. As soon as his hands and feet were pressed together, he hung upside down on the top of the passage. At this time, 3 or 4 strands of black mucus passed through the body. Directly stuck to the grid floor not far away. Peter looked back. Sure enough, it is a substance similar to black spider silk emitted by Venom Fury and other Venoms. Obviously trying to stick them directly. Venom Fury said nothing. Aim at Spider-Man and pull the trigger. In an instant, balls of blue electric light spurted out from the muzzle. The goddess flew towards the two of them like scattered flowers. In an instant, all directions where Spider-Man could avoid were blocked. And Peter had difficulty moving while carrying Coulson on his back. Even if Coulson was put down first, he was still hit by lightning. The strong electric current instantly caused him extreme pain. And now more Venom appears. The two of them were completely surrounded. Coulson still didn't give up after seeing this. I still want to fight my way out with the weapons in my hands. But Venom Fury seemed to see his thoughts clearly. His left hand fired black mucus and snatched the weapon from Coulson's hand. Now both of them had no hope of escaping. Spider-Man fell to the floor of the passage in pain. Make a dull sound. Coulson had no choice but to step forward and help him up. Looking at the Venom around him, he sneered and joked. Do you think they will kill us or transform us into the same kind? As soon as he finished speaking, Venom Fury raised the 2 weapons in his hands and pointed them at them. The meaning is very obvious, seeing that the 2 of them were about to die at the hands of Director Shield. Suddenly, there was an extremely loud noise coming from a distance, and there were ghostly screams that made people crazy. After hearing this, the Venoms all froze in place. Then he roared as if encountering ultrasonic waves. The black symbiote on the outside began to tremble violently. Then it tore directly. The SHIELD agents wrapped inside were revealed. Quick, Peter, rescue Director Fury. How could Coulson not seize the opportunity when he saw this? Spider-Man is even more quick-eyed and quick-handed. Quickly launch genuine spider silk to stick to Nick Fury's body. Then he pulled his arms outward hard. Nick Fury, who screamed along with the symbiote, was pulled out of the black symbiote's body with a slight stab. These parasites still can't stand the screams. Spider-Man said excitedly. Yes, but we can't stand it. What the hell is this? Nick Fury stood up covering his ears. This shrill and incomprehensible ghost scream simply made his scalp numb. It makes me want to vomit. As the sound gets closer, all the Venoms farther away fled. The black symbiote that had begun to tear apart turned into balls of black slime. Get into the various gaps in the passage and escape from here like crazy. After a few breaths, Spider-Man, Nick Fury, and many SHIELD agents saw the source of the sound. Wong Kai walked slowly from the other side of the aisle with a large stereo on his shoulders. What is playing inside is the source of the ghostly noise. The sound is deafening. Luna and Harry followed behind. Both wore white earplugs. Isolate this kind of sound that makes your hair explode. What the hell is this? Nick Fury roared. Cover your ears tightly with your hands. The close distance almost made him feel manic. I wish I could smash this stereo. Lost Rivers. Warm reminder from the system. Never search for this noise-reducing song. But anyone who can listen to it in its entirety is a genius. Wong Kai laughed heartily. He thought of this ghostly song immediately after receiving Harry's call. For this reason, he spent some time buying this speaker. For this picture now, as long as he comes out carrying the stereo. Any symbiote is like meeting its biological father. All turned into puddles of black slime. Noise can only drive away symbionts. These parasites have completely covered the entire space carrier. If you want to kill them, you still need to use high temperatures. Wong Kai temporarily turned off the sound and said, "Yes, sir, and the helicourier is heading to New York. The Green Goblin wants the entire city to be possessed." Coulson hurriedly explained the current situation. Now they don't have much time left. "And what do you think?" Nick Fury asked Coulson in a deep voice. "It's very simple, completely blow up the space carrier. This way we can't guarantee that not a single bit of the alien symbiote will fall to the ground." As soon as Coulson's words left his mouth, many S.H.I.E.L.D. agents immediately exploded. This is the symbol of S.H.I.E.L.D., the second headquarters. An expensive space carrier. He actually said it would explode. Maybe we can change course. Yes, we can also play this ghostly sound to the entire mothership, so that everyone can be rescued. Or defeat the Green Goblin. He is the culprit who controls all symbiotes. Many agents came up with several solutions in just an instant. But everyone has ignored the most important issue. They don't have time, and the Green Goblin is in the main control room now. There was no way he was defenseless at all. That's enough. Stop it all. Nick Fury stopped all agent quarrels. Then he immediately ordered. "As the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., I order you to evacuate immediately. I am responsible for all consequences." Coulson opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but was directly interrupted by Nick Fury. "Needless to say, this method is indeed the best choice. Don't take all the responsibility on yourself." Patted Coulson on the shoulder. Nick Fury turned to look at Luna. "Use the portal to send them to the surface." "Okay." Luna put on the hanging ring with a charming smile and opened the portal. Constantly rotating golden particles appear. The portal opens. On the other side is New York's Central Park. The agents on the space carrier had no choice but to execute the order. "Start evacuating quickly. Harry, you should evacuate here too," Wong Kai said in a deep voice. Although he didn't want to kill Norman Osborn. But now the Green Goblin can't blame him if he seeks his own death. Harry hesitated for a moment before nodding in agreement. Then he asked Wong Kai and others, "If possible, please rescue my father. He's just sick." Spider-Man immediately agreed. Wong Kai said nothing. The crowd quickly divided into two groups. Luna and Spider-Man put on their stereos and went fishing. When the Venoms take the bait, they turn on the BGM to peel off the alien symbiote and save everyone. Wong Kai went to the main control room to deal with the Green Goblin. The space inside the space carrier is small. Metal Storm is not suitable for use here. So the solemn and sacred angel armor is online again, and the Guardian of Dawn appears again. Mention huge amounts of cyan magic blade. Wong Kai sneered. "Maybe I can do you a favor if I blow this place up completely. After all, I haven't cut this thing yet." Nick Fury and Coulson were speechless for a moment. "What do you usually chop?" The three of them arrived at the main control room in silence. There are nearly 100 Venoms here alone. The Green Goblin was now standing on the command podium with his back to the three people. And that's usually Nick Fury's exclusive seat. The three of them could already see the distant land through the transparent glass in front of the command hall. This shows that the space carrier is very close to New York. "You're finally here, Kai." The Green Goblin let out an evil laugh and turned to look at the three of them. The face is hideous and terrifying. There was strong hatred in his eyes. He still hasn't forgotten the fact that his teeth were knocked out by Wong Kai when he was just born. "I didn't expect that before I became the king of the new world, I could kill you with my own hands." The Green Goblin opened his arms. In an instant, all the black symbionts behind him were separated from their hosts, gathered into a long black river and merged into the Green Goblin's body. The Green Goblin continues to grow in size. In the blink of an eye, it was already 5 meters high. The iconic goblin long ears. There is also a white spider pattern on the chest. The venomous green goblin was born. What a powerful force. Ha ha ha. The venomous green goblin laughs like crazy. Very satisfied with the current situation. All strength, self-healing, and regeneration abilities are increased several times. It feels like no one can kill him. This kind of me, this kind of power. The venomous green goblin opened his bloody mouth in excitement, spitting out that long scarlet tongue. He let out a roar that echoed through the sky at the three of them. Roar. An astonishing momentum swept over him instantly. Like a monstrous tsunami, overwhelming. The filming of Coulson and Nick Fury made the two top agents take a step back. Shocked in my heart, I couldn't help but ask from the bottom of my heart. Can Kai really take down such a monster? The two of them turned their attention to Wong Kai. I saw the sacred angel armor as motionless as mountains and rivers. When the venomous green goblin saw this, he thought Wong Kai was too frightened to move. I couldn't help but laugh wildly. It only takes one punch to kill you. The venomous green goblin clenched his fists as big as bicycle wheels. Explode the strongest power in your body towards Wong Kai. Disappeared in the blink of an eye. And suddenly a shadow appeared in front of Wong Kai. The dark fist came to the armor with an aura that destroyed everything. Boom. Just listen to an explosion in the air. The airflow caused by the fist wind was like an 8th grade wind. Blow Nick Fury and Coulson directly to the ground. The two people immediately got up to check the situation. But his pupils shrank instantly. I saw Wong Kai resisting the punch of the venomous green goblin with one hand. And the venomous green goblin's shocked expression was no less than the two of them. This is absolutely impossible. The venomous green goblin's eyes almost popped out. He can smash a tank with one punch. How could it be possible to be caught so easily? In this era, everything is possible. Wong Kai's cold words came out. Then I saw a flash of golden light. The arm of the venomous green goblin was removed. Dropped to the floor with a thud. But the black symbiote on this extremely thick arm quickly turned into a black stream. In the blink of an eye, it was back to the venomous green goblin. And that broken arm, it grew again at an extremely fast speed. You can't kill me. The venomous green goblin roared at Wong Kai. But the next second Wong Kai raised the cyan magic blade and put it directly on his chin. The roaring sound suddenly disappeared completely. Become Norman Osborn again, or die. A voice so indifferent that it seemed to have no trace of human emotion came from. The venomous green goblin didn't answer. Instead, he opened his big mouth full of fangs. The blade penetrated his head and bit Wong Kai on the head. Boom. Countless spike-like fangs broke in response. But the venomous green goblin didn't care. He clenched his mouth and grabbed Wong Kai's shoulders with both hands. Then it was violently torn outward. The ferocious look is like the most ferocious beast. Court death. The magic blade flashes red and is enchanted with true damage. Wong Kai waved down, split the venomous green goblin in two with one knife. But even so, the venomous green goblin is actually not dead yet. The bloody mouth still refuses to let go. The venomous green goblin refuses to let go. Wong Kai had no choice but to use time and space shuttle to move out. Huge amounts of the magic blade flicked upward. It went straight through the neck of the venomous green goblin. Let you bite randomly. Wong Kai watched indifferently as the head of the venomous green goblin fell to the ground. Just when I was about to turn around and let Nick Fury drive the space carrier away, but found that the venomous green goblin's head suddenly turned into a pool of black liquid. Then suddenly a strong wind struck. Phew, one of the legs of the venomous green goblin was cut off by Wong Kai again. But the strange thing is, almost at the moment of breaking, the limbs that had been separated were actually reattached under the pull of the black symbiote. Ha ha ha, I am immortal. The venomous green goblin laughs wildly. Then he spread his hands. The black symbiote actually began to gather in the palm of my hand. In the blink of an eye, two masses of black liquid formed. Become my slave. The venomous green goblin threw out two balls of black symbiote. I saw these two masses of black liquid suddenly changing in the air. In the blink of an eye, it flattened out into two spider webs. The scope is huge. The force fell down just in time to cover Wong Kai. Ha ha ha, now no matter how powerful you are, you have to obey my orders. The venomous green goblin is shaking with excitement. Wong Kai is too strong. If the body is not moved within the symbiotic body in time, he will definitely be beheaded with a knife. At that time, no matter how strong self-healing and limb regeneration are, it will be useless. Nick Fury and Coulson were even more anxious when they saw this. Now Wong Kai is their only hope. Once he falls, then no one can stop the evil plan of the venomous Green Goblin. Just as the two tried to use plasma stun guns to drive away the black symbiote, an extremely cold voice suddenly sounded. "Who do you think I am?" The black symbiote surrounding Wong Kai suddenly began to expand. Then it exploded like a balloon with a bang. The black symbiote was all stripped away in an instant. At the same time, a strong wind blew in all directions. Nick Fury and Coulson hurriedly avoided the flying symbiotes. The venomous Green Goblin's eyes widened again. The solemn and holy angel armor is now covered with a light white translucent shield. Make it even more sacred. Tornado flash. Explodes the aura to repel the enemy. I didn't expect it would be used at this time. You did take a beating. Wong Kai said indifferently. The current venomous Green Goblin is equivalent to a full meat tank staying in the spring water. Although his sword's critical strike does real damage, but it's also extremely difficult to kill him. Moreover, the 40-meter sword cannot be released directly inside the space carrier. This is what makes the venomous Green Goblin so arrogant now. I'm here to entangle him, and you play the ghost song at the maximum volume. After saying this, Wong Kai rushed forward. Since the venomous Green Goblin is a moving spring, then wouldn't it be easy to just carry away the spring water and hack the Green Goblin to death? Nick Fury and Coulson finally woke up. They didn't come to watch a show. The two people immediately came to the control hall. There was no time to watch how Wong Kai cut the venomous Green Goblin into pieces. Then how did the venomous Green Goblin recover? Start controlling your computer immediately. And attempted to change the course of the space carrier. The Green Goblin really destroyed the navigation system. Now the space carrier can't stop even if it wants to. Coulson looked at the screen angrily. But Nick Fury on the side didn't take it to heart. Find this ghost song. In other words, the Divine Comedy of Transcendence. It was immediately played at maximum volume. Hum. A chaotic and disorderly noise, like a ghost scream, suddenly sounded. For a moment everyone covered their ears. Not only is the sound deafening, and this kind of ghostly noise that I don't know what it is simply murdering people's ears. I got goosebumps all over the place after listening to this. Ordinary people are still like this. For the venomous Green Goblin, it is even more of a public execution. The alien symbiote seems to be really being transcended, falling continuously from a body as high as 5 meters. And it began to tear itself apart, let out an extremely shrill scream. What are you looking at? Leave quickly, Wong Kai shouted to Coulson and others. Now the spring water on the Green Goblin's body has been peeled off. But this spring with unlimited blood recovery seems to have become a spirit. After the black symbiote was torn apart, it did not shrink back into a puddle of liquid like those batch-produced venoms. Instead, it gradually grows after tearing. The top has been glued to the ceiling of the main control room. It's almost 10 meters tall now. The white spider pattern on the chest receded. What appeared instead was a ferocious white face. White diamond-shaped eyes and a mouth full of fangs. Just like a devil. Help, someone come and save me. At this moment, a cry for help suddenly appeared in the body of the venomous Green Goblin. Wong Kai took a closer look. Emerging from the rampaging black symbiote, it turned out to be Norman Osborn, who had returned to his original form. At this time, he was being pulled continuously by the symbiote. Like a small boat in a stormy black ocean, there is always a danger of overturning. You all have to die. The voice of the Green Goblin came out of the mouth of the black symbiote that was still rampaging and proliferating. Although Wong Kai didn't know what was going on, but he quickly stepped forward and jumped into the air. The golden sword light flashed by extremely quickly. With just a few knives, all the black symbiote clinging to Norman's body was cut off. Then he grabbed Norman with one hand and pulled hard. Then he rescued him from the rampaging symbiote. Oh my God, Angel, it's actually Angel. Norman seemed a little delirious. He pointed at Wong Kai and talked with a look of shock on his face. Wong Kai didn't bother to see if he was pretending. After landing, throw it directly to Coulson. Looking at the rampaging black symbiote, I knew there was no other way. Go find Luna quickly. Wong Kai rushed directly in front of the symbiote to attract most of the firepower. The sword light kept flashing. Cut off all the symbiote tentacles surrounding him. Just like cutting jelly, Coulson and Nick Fury fired blue electric lights to block the tentacles chasing them. Cover the retreat of other agents. Passage outside the main control room. Luna and Spider-Man hurried over. They have rescued all other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Seeing nearly 100 people coming out of the main control room, he opened the portal again. Spider-Man quickly guides everyone through. Soon we saw Coulson and Nick Fury at the back of the team. Where's my brother? Still in there. That's good. You guys leave quickly and don't stop Brother Kai from killing people. Quote. The two of them didn't know how to answer for a moment. This doesn't follow any routine. But at the same time, I also know that Luna is right. In desperation, I had no choice but to leave. Suddenly, only Wong Kai, Luna, the rampaging symbiote, and the remaining symbiote fragments in various places were left on the entire space carrier. At this time, the ubiquitous divine song of salvation is still ringing in the main control room. The rampaging symbiote has almost filled the entire hall. Wong Kai felt like he was in a rough black ocean. Continuously wielding the golden sword light, cut off all the incoming ferocious waves. Brother Kai, they have all left. You can fight now. Luna shouted from outside the main control room. Then he opened the portal and came outside the space carrier. At this time, the space carrier is full of black symbiotes. There seemed to be many mold tentacles growing on the huge steel fortress. The black tentacles kept waving. It's like escaping from that terrible divine song of salvation. We can't let these things fall. Luna flew to the front of the space carrier and waved her hands. Like breaking glass, an extremely large mirror dimension entrance suddenly appeared. As the space carrier flies forward, the mirror dimension swallowed up the entire space carrier. In the main control room, Wong Kai slowly put away the knife. Looking at the abyssal maw of the rampaging symbiote that could almost swallow a villa, he smiled coldly. Then he took out a cat bomb. It is one of the necessary medicines for murder and arson. Although it's almost impossible to hack you to death, it can easily blow you up. Indifferent words spread. The rampaging black symbiote is sweeping over. The black wave covers the sky. It seemed as if Wong Kai would be completely submerged. Explode. Boom. The cat bomb detonated directly in the palm of Wong Kai's hand. The black wave was instantly covered in fiery red heat. The flames filled the whole room in an instant. Symbiotes under high temperatures dissipate quickly like ice and snow when encountering the sun. The shock wave generated by the explosion destroyed all the equipment in the main control room. The glass on the window shattered instantly. The flames all pour out from it, ruthlessly licking any symbiote that might escape. And Wong Kai stood there, even though the shock wave and flames caused by the explosion were everywhere around him. But the immortal demon body is still intact. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing the villain's rampaging alien symbiote and getting 100 check-in points. The system sound sounded. Wong Kai was not in the mood to pay attention to this. He wanted to add another item as a souvenir to the things he had chopped down. The changing metal storm flew directly out of the gap destroyed by the explosion. Turn around and come directly above the space carrier. Blue plasma flames shot out from under his feet. Instantly increase the speed to twice the speed of sound. Bang! Sonic boom sounds appear. The metal storm disappears. Angel Armor dual wields the cyan magic blade and the endless war blade. Place the two knives crossed in front of you. The red light shines brightly on the blade. He waved two astonishing sword auras hundreds of meters wide at the aerospace carrier that gradually occupied the entire field of view. Dual-wielding Overlord slash. Boom. Two golden crescent moons, which were exactly the same size as the space carrier, instantly flew out from the blade. Cut the space carrier into 3 pieces without any hindrance. The fracture is extremely smooth. You can also see the fragments of the symbiote hidden inside. But then the space carrier seemed to be hit by an ammunition depot. Before the 3 sections of the ship were separated, big explosions began to occur continuously. And finally turned into the most beautiful fireworks in the sky. And all the alien symbiote fragments were killed. This is the mirror dimension. Metal storms flew up from below the explosion. Wang Kai frowned slightly as he looked at the scene around him. But it stretched out again when Luna flew over. Does S.H.I.E.L.D. believe that the explosion and destruction of the space carrier had nothing to do with him? Even if he kidnaps this thing, so what? Luna's kindness is not wrong. As for other people's malicious speculations, he just blocks them. Are we saving the world? Luna asked expectantly with her eyes full of little stars. Yes, we save the world. Okay. The joyful laughter radiates from the girl's body and mind. This is a real pleasure. What happened after that was almost as Wang Kai thought. The helicopter disappears instead of exploding. It made everyone in S.H.I.E.L.D. a little suspicious. In the eyes of some people, this is a shocking theft. The World Security Council is demanding a thorough investigation into this matter. Minister Pierce puts pressure on Nick Fury again. Demand that Wang Kai, a huge threat that is not controlled by anyone, be dealt with. As for how to deal with it, of course it was an upright assassination. As a result, this was naturally rejected directly by Nick Fury. This is absolutely impossible. How could we kill the man who just saved the world? Nick Fury argued hard, but Pierce was left speechless. That's just his lie. A trick. Alien symbiote. How can you believe his one-sided story? And the instigator, Green Goblin Norman Osborn, is also related to him, plus the disappeared space carrier, and other crimes he committed. How can we guarantee that this devil who kills people and ignores the law will be a hero? No matter how you look at it, Wang Kai is the real culprit behind the scenes. Pierce roared righteously. Even Nick Fury was shaken after what he said. After all signs are pushing Wang Kai in the worst direction. But my intuition told Nick Fury that this was definitely not the case. I'm sorry, sir, I can't carry out your order. This is extremely stupid behavior. And S.H.I.E.L.D. cannot bear the consequences. Pierce fell silent immediately. The two looked at each other coldly, neither wanting to let them go. After a moment, Pierce said softly, I know. I won't force you, but this threat must be controlled. I will send others to capture him. Let him reveal the whereabouts of the space carrier and be punished by law. Pierce turned his back on Nick Fury. The latter immediately knew that there was no room for negotiation. I had no choice but to leave. Before leaving, I heard Pierce's warning words. You should know how to make Fury. Don't do anything to disgrace S.H.I.E.L.D. The implication is that he doesn't want Nick Fury to reveal the news. But in fact, it allowed him to take the position of the scapegoat. Whether successful or not, to outsiders, it seems that the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. is responsible for this. Understood, sir. Nick Fury strode away. There are policies and measures to counter. He cannot say. It doesn't mean that others can't say it. As soon as the bald braised egg left, Pierce immediately showed a sinister smile. He knew the character of this subordinate very well. So he decided to strike first. At this time, outside Wang Kai's apartment building, a disheveled man armed with huge amounts of anti-materiel sniper rifles. The sniper, whose left arm reflects the metallic luster, is aiming at several people in the room through infrared rays. This is Winter Soldier. Bucky Barnes, a good friend of Captain America, fell into a valley during World War II and was rescued by Hydra. He was brainwashed and transformed into the Winter Soldier. Now it is Hydra's assassination weapon. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.